Hey folks, how's it going? No crazy shit tonight, I promise. Except for this one.
The hoes are laughing?
Yep.
So the audience are a bunch of hoes.
Yep.
That's right, baby, you know it. Anyways, we're here to do Spider-Man Homecoming, another Infinity Saga review to wrap up our Infinity Saga review series. This is the MCU'S Bleeding Edge YouTube channel and podcast. I am, of course, the humble to be Jeff S. TrueKnowledge, creator and co-host at times of the MCU's Bleeding Edge. Here on the panel with me is my co-host Cyberneticshark, Andre's a pop culture guy, Kyle from True Believers, William from Geek Gauntlet Podcast. About to get after it. William, it's good to see you, brother.
Good to be here, man. Thank you for having me. Appreciate the invite.
So this is Andres, just so you know. Andres, what year did you did you leave today to come on the show?
And I do remember you, Andres. We did a show together. We did that Coming to America review
Yes, we did
together. So I do remember. Okay.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, and I know Kyle. We've been a couple shows before.
We killed that review, by the way.
Oh yeah, Coming to America is good.
Well, Andres comes from different years and dimensions and shit and whatnot. Everything, you know, as a Time Lord or whatnot. When he comes on the show, you never know which Andres you're going to get. So maybe it was a different Andres that came on that show.
I think I was the 10th Andreas when William was there, and then Kyle saw my 3rd Andreas. So now I'm like the 12th right now.
It's an interesting stick. I'm gonna have to look into.
If you're going by Time Lord rules, then you're just about out of regenerations, my friend.
Yeah, you are.
I know. Wait.
Are the Marvels and Captain Marvel revered as films in the year 2077?
No. I mean, if you're honest.
No, but I can confirm that everybody worships She-Hulk.
I thought it was. Oh, see, you know what? It's very. I figured, you know what? You never know. Maybe by the year 2077, that's very funny, Kyle. Maybe by the year 2077, people would be hip enough and be, you know, smart enough and whatnot, and like with it enough to where they get like how dope Captain Marvel was.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, and I'll do a quick skirt around. Despite the fact I can't stand Brie Larson, I had no problem with this movie. It was
fun.
No spoilers, but who's seen the Marvels and who liked it other than William? Who liked the Marvels?
I liked it.
I had fun with it.
I loved it.
There's a scene in the middle of the movie that I can't stand, but it's not a long scene. So once you get past that, you good to go.
Wait, William, would you be happy thinking that you might have to break out in song during that scene?
I don't know about breaking out in song, but I could have done without it.
The husband's alien race or whatever, whatnot, that only speak English in singing.
No, I will give them props though. That Ms. Marvel dress wasn't bad. I'll give them props on that.
Well, if I can get off my lazy ass tomorrow and go see the Marvels, maybe we'll whip together some kind of like straight recorded review and whatnot and everything. William and Kyle, I'll hit you guys up and see where you're at and whatnot. See if you want to jump on with us, and we'll do like a short, like, you know, I don't know, non-spoiler one or something like that.
You're gonna be in by a flirkin before you leave the movie, so it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah.
I hope they don't overdo the flirkin in that fucking movie.
And Monica Rambeau.
The flirkin are the best.
Monica Rambeau is my new crush.
I figured I'll probably like the movie. I like Iman Vellani and I like Monica Rambeau.
Monica Rambeau, so ooh wee. I
know, right?
He's like Tiana Paris.
There's some things we can.
Is it Tiana Paris or is it Tayana Paris?
It doesn't matter. It don't matter what.
It don't matter, huh?
You need to be. She's a baddie, man, and she's got the prettiest smile. Ooh, wee.
I thought that this was Valkyrie. For a hot minute, I thought that was Valkyrie. I did like it said on the image that I picked for that was Valkyrie, that the actress that plays Valkyrie, but that's not her.
Oh,
No, that is
really?
not Tessa Thompson.
No, that's not Tessa Thompson.
Kind of figured she wasn't that thick. At least she ain't looked that thing in the movie.
I must have been on some time cotton drugs or something that day, or whatever, whatnot. When I saw
Andrew gives you some of them time reduction pills or something.
Yeah, but guys, come on. We are talking about a movie with hot Aunt May in it. So I mean,
for real. Whoever thought that Aunt May would be hot?
Still mad she died, but that's just me.
How in whatever version of in the comics, if anybody really quick could tell me what is Aunt May like in the comics now?
Still
old school Aunt May?
Old.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
only the MCU made her young.
I haven't seen it yet, but what are do we have any up thumbs on the Miss Webb trailer yet? Or are we in the middle? Or we?
I'm trying to forget that 2 minutes.
What, Madam Webb?
Madam Webb?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I put it on my TikTok channel, and it's like one of the lowest view videos I got on my TikTok channel. Don't nobody else.
Sony has put out trailers for the 2 most irrelevant comic book movies of all time within a 6-month period.
The only thing about it that I will say,
Spider-Woman looks good.
You get Spider-Woman, so I mean,
yeah, I mean, you get Julia Carpenter version of Spider-Woman.
Yeah, you get something, but you know.
What did you think of what I said earlier in that chat, William, about how Sony sort of like, in a way, if you think about it, they're responsible for the best Marvel film we've gotten since Endgame.
What do you mean? I mean,
Sony's responsible for the best Marvel film I think that we've gotten since Endgame, the best MCU film since Endgame, best Spider-Man 3.
Well, yeah.
I like Guardians 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Kevin Feige consults or whatever on those films, but I think Sony runs the show.
I don't know about that.
The Spider-Man Sony MCU situation is actually quite funny because Kevin Feige has this big old sword that he just holds over Sony anytime he wants, if he wants to screw over Sony. Because, but here's the thing. So Sony has rights to live actions Peter Parker Spider-Man. However, the MCU has the rights for live action Miles Morales.
Disney does.
Sony can do all the animated Miles Morales they want, but they do not have the rights to do a live action Miles Morales film.
This is my chance to prove myself.
Don't mind that. I'm just saving that for later.
And Miles Morales is, and then in case you guys haven't been reading the comics, Miles Morales is just, compared to Peter's, just OP now.
Now, if I'm correct, in home, I don't mean to cut anybody off, but in Homecoming, when we see Donald Glover's character and whatnot and everything, and he mentions having a nephew in the like the midpoint of the film,
it's a Easter egg to Miles Morales.
Yep. And there were so many Easter eggs in this movie. So many.
And then they played up on it again in the last Spider-Verse film.
Yep.
That as well. But the truth of the matter is, we can blame Venom for this whole movie Spider-Man mess we have right now.
Well,
if Venom hadn't succeeded, Sony was set to sell Spider-Man rights back to Disney.
We could do a whole show just on talking about the rights for Spider-Man and whatnot and everything and all that. But let's get into Homecoming. So this came out in 2017. I'll start with you, Cyberneticshark. Going back to when you first saw this and now when you watch it today, was it sort of like a breath of fresh air to go back and revisit an old MCU film like that from 2017? From phase 2, end of phase 2, beginning of phase 3?
I mean, I love this film no matter what. So, I mean, I'm always watching it. So it's always a breath of fresh air for me, no matter when I watch it. So, I mean, compared to when I first saw it, I think it's just as good as the first time I watched it. I enjoy it. I crack up at it. I love the whole thought process. One of the best villains, I think, that they had is Michael Keaton in this.
Yeah.
And just the whole setup for it was just really well done. And I really have no complaints about it. I mean, it just
I do.
Basically it's pretty just a decent film then, and even now when I just got done watching it.
William, what do you
My
think?
own-
Had it been a while since you watched it?
Actually, I went back and watched it today. And the one thing that the only criticism I will really have in this movie, there was no Uncle Ben. I get it, but there was still no Uncle Ben. And that MJ isn't MJ, so to speak. You don't see that MJ come around till later. But those were my only two real complaints about the movie. It was fantastic. Otherwise, you saw the first shocker, the early shocker. They sort of kind of either colored the clothes he was wearing toward his suit that you see in the comics.
That suit is so ugly that if they did it like the comics, it would be so ugly anyway.
Yeah, I agree. I thought they did a decent job with Vulture. Thought Michael Keaton did a good job acting wise. Movie was really, really good. Now, this wasn't the first time we saw Spider-Man, as we all know. We saw him before.
William, could you imagine if they used the old school Vulture costume that he used forever? And just the ugly green fucking bird one
with the fur?
Yeah.
I would have been so pissed if that was that, because I don't think you could make that. I don't know if you can make that comic accurate.
No, but he was a dope character in the comics as Old Man Toombs, he was cool.
Old Man Toombs. Yeah, he was cool. I just don't know if they can get that original Vulture suit to look right. I don't think they could.
So was it a breath of fresh air? I mean, do you revisit the MCU films on a regular basis, or was this kind of like in the sphere of what's going on in Phase 4 and Phase 5 movie wise? Was it like nice to go back and revisit this film?
It was nice to go back to, because I go back sometimes and look at old MCU films, Spider-Man Homecoming, some of the old Avengers movies, particularly Age of Ultron. I don't know why I love Age of Ultron.
Kyle goes to bed to the Eternals every night.
Yeah, that's one movie I'd never go back and watch.
That's a cure for insomnia.
That's Kyle's go to bed film.
That's called insomnia.
If you can't sleep, watch Eternals. You'll be right knocked out.
My day fell asleep when I watched it. There you go.
There you go, man.
And I didn't get laid. So, I'm saying thanks a lot. Right? I mean, seriously.
I do want to say a shout out to Angelina Jolie. Still beautiful.
Real. Seriously. They can make if they can bring her back, I don't care. They can make Eternals too, just as long as they bring her back.
Yeah.
Andre's a pop culture guy, sir. Do you watch the Spider-Man film? Now you watch movies all the time, just kind of like Cyber. Was this a nice kind of like change up for you?
No, I've seen this movie multiple times after it got to cable, so this is like very, very fresh to me. I see this movie like so many times in the cable TV, so it's pretty much ingrained in my. It's one of my personal favorite Spider-Man films. It's number 4 after the Spider-Verse, the first, and Spider-Man 2, and recently Cross the Spider-Verse. It just does everything right as a Spider-Man film, and we'll get into it. But I mean, I agree with Cyber and everyone. Like, I mean, the Vulture is like the best MCU villain ever. It's like my 3rd favorite MCU villain after Killmonger and Wang Wu from Shang-Chi. Mm-hmm. So, everything about this movie is just perfect. This is what a Spider-Man movie should be, and we'll get into it. I still have my nitpicks with the film, but overall, it's a great film. It's definitely top tier Spider-Man film and top tier MCU film, which is good.
It's definitely top tier MCU film. I don't think that honestly on my list, I don't really have a list, but I think Thanos has to be up higher, and so does Loki from the first Avengers film as the villain, and Ultron too. I'm sorry, than the Vulture, but the Vulture's good. I love like,
but.
Kyle,
But hold on. I do want to challenge that for a second, because I thought with the Vulture, you got a little bit more character development.
I think that boils down to who you hire to perform as an actor or actress for the character, right?
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying, I think you got more the way the writing was. I just think you got more depth from the Vulture. You pretty much saw Thanos just be a badass, but that's what he was in the comics. But you saw Vulture taking care of its family. They made it kind of personal with him, And I thought that was great because it gave you some insight to why he was doing what he was doing. You saw it straight up. You met his daughter, you saw his wife.
Sure.
So I thought that was kind of interesting that you got a little bit of the personal side of the bad guy for a change, not just trying to rule the world, but actually coming home, trying to live an everyday life.
No, that was a big change up. We hadn't really, but then again, that's what kind of comes with Spider-Man, right? Is more of that kind of territory. Now, of course, this film was directed by John Watts, who I believe directed all the Spider-Man films, didn't he?
Correct.
Yep.
And is he still attached to the Fantastic Four?
No, he's no longer. He pulled out of that because basically he said he had superhero movie.
Oh, that was a while ago. Yeah. What am I talking about? Yeah, you're right. And he, of course, was also responsible for writing the film along with Jonathan Goldstein, John Francis Daley, Christopher Ford, and Chris Paquetta and Eric Summers. Names that we've heard before and whatnot, and have written in other MCU films and did some Disney Plus stuff too. Now, Kyle, what about you, brother? You're a busy guy. You don't watch movies all the time. Was it nice to step back and go back to 2017?
With this film, it's like Andre said, this film is on television on a pretty consistent basis. So I've come across, this is one of those movies that I just call it's a couch potato film because you can hop into it at any time and enjoy it. And so what I remember though about this film is, we talk about the Vulture, and again, it's Michael Keaton's performance as that character that sells that character and makes it one of the better villains in the MCU. I still think Thanos is right up there as far as an MCU, as just MCU comic accurate villain and everything. But Keaton is so good in this, and Keaton just steals so many scenes that he's in. But it's what I find more intriguing is considering the events of Spider-Man No Way Home and how there's aspects of this film that aren't pertinent anymore. And I find that very interesting because when we look at Spider-Man No Way Home, at the end of that film, they basically reset the status quo for Peter Parker to more of the traditional Peter Parker comic book. And so it's interesting to look at these three films, and especially Homecoming, I think, which started a whole new status quo for a brand new Spider-Man. And yet it's been completely changed now from just three films in. And so I think that's very interesting to look at when you go back and revisit this film now compared to when you first saw it the first time.
I think it was too that you saw Avengers Tower in the midst of being sold, but then you turn around to Hawkeye and they also made a reference to it in Hawkeye too. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
I love how Damage Control was in this, right? I mean, other than Miss Marvel, I don't remember hearing maybe in one other project of some kind. I think I've heard the term Damage Control pop up.
No Way Home was the bit they introduced Damage Control again. So
okay,
yeah.
I think I may have heard it mismentioned. I think in something else too. I can't remember what it was.
I
think it was another one of the Disney Plus shows.
Yeah,
yeah. Was it? I think Falcon with the Soldier did it. If I remember correctly. But yeah.
There might have been a mention of Damage Control in She-Hulk too.
They've tried to maintain that consistency with a lot of the comic book element stuff. Go ahead, Leah.
Because you saw the Wrecking Crew. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, they tried to kind of have those elements. I thought Spider-Man was this Spider-Man film was very comic book accurate for not being a comic book accurate film, and for not having Uncle Ben and whatnot and everything, and doing the full introduction story. Now, of course, folks, as I start off, and kind of get into the film, we see Spider-Man first get injected into the MCU in Captain America: Civil War, right when Tony and Cap and the Winter Soldier have that awesome fight scene in the end, that is fucking just like killer. Like I remember, I love watching people react. There's very few trailer reactions to Age of Ultron trailers on YouTube, but the ones that they have are gold. Because people seeing those trailers, like people were freaking out.
That's Spider-Man.
Civil
War for everybody.
Oh yeah, I think it was the second trailer they dropped him in there at the end.
Yeah,
it was like an end credit of the trailer.
Yep.
Yeah, that was awesome. And so that was his first appearance in the MCU with Tom Holland. And Tom Holland is still pretty relatively young. I miss him, to be completely honest with you. I can't wait to see Spider-Man 4 come out. Who the hell knows when we'll get it? It might be the year 2027. Who knows? But hopefully we'll get Blade first. But maybe we'll start with the Loki outline. The Loki finale. That will really help us out. So we start off with Toomes right off the film at the rubble of the Battle of New York with his crew and whatnot and everything. And they're basically there to go ahead and clean up after the catastrophe that was the Battle of New York in terms of all the infrastructure in New York that was destroyed. I can't remember the exact estimates of what the projected costs were of like the damage that was done and whatnot that had been bantered around in the MCU, but I know it was pretty big. Now, basically, damage control comes in and they assert and take over the contract right from jump through a government rep, right? And you kind of get the vibe of Michael Keaton's Toomes, Adrian Toomes' character, Vulture character, right from jump. When he straight decks a dude right from jump, right? That's with the government and whatnot and everything. You kind of get every scene you get him. He's kind of like, where he gets physical with somebody or he gets upset. He's almost like unforgiving. Like he's a nasty fucking villain, man. I love Michael Keaton as a bad guy. He's great. But either way, that's how we kind of start things off. And they're kind of like, shit, they don't know what they're going to do, him and his people. And they get a last haul of the alien stuff that is all the Shatari tech left over from the battle. Now, until I watched this film and in watching it again for, I guess, the third time today in my life ever, I didn't realize the depth of gravity of the fucking crap, the tech that they took from the Chitauri. Holy fuck, man. Did they get some shit? It's hard to keep up during the movie. I didn't have time to slow it down to write down all the shit that they listed off that they had. They had some serious shit.
And not only that, but you also saw some of this same tech end up in other Marvel series. If you go to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they had some of that Chitauri tech in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as well.
That only makes sense.
When Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. actually still connected to the MCU.
Yep, that's when it was. Yep.
I didn't know that. That makes sense, though. Some of that stuff, I mean, it's crazy. We'll talk about it in the film. I mean, like, there's stuff in there where if the right person was potentially using it, it could be really devastating. And we find out right in the beginning of the film, the power of some of these weapons is insane. So basically, they have this last haul of the alien stuff. Toomes is like, let's keep it. Fuck it. Right? And we get a great sort of like series of scenes where we see his whole operation in action, like crafting all this alien tech and whatnot, and this shit left over from the Chitauri from the battle into weapons and whatnot and everything and whatnot that they can sell on the black market and whatnot. And that's how they're now and tech, gear for people that commit crime and shit and whatnot. Who knows what kind of shit they actually end up creating. That's what they're doing to make an income, and the money's flowing in. And you see sort of like the first set of his Vulture wings and whatnot, his sort of suit right off the bat. And then we go right into actually seeing Tom Holland's in high school, Peter Parker. Well, actually, no, we start right off before we go to high school. We start right off and see like a montage, flashback montage of him filming when he actually gets recruited by Tony Stark to go and help out with Cap and the Civil War deal over in London, right? And at that point, we see him with Happy and whatnot. Happy picks him up. Happy's like, where's the case and whatnot and everything after they go in the plane that has no pilot. I love the jubilance of how Tom Holland brings the Peter Parker character to screen. He's really good as the young Peter Parker. But they go to Berlin. We don't see any of the scenes from Civil War, but we do see him with Tony and whatnot and everything. We see him talking about how he stole Cap's shield and everything and whatnot, which is cool. He's all excited. And we get the car ride with Tony where Tony's kind of like, we'll call you, kind of this like, pushes them aside and whatnot and everything, right? And the almost hug, we're not there yet, like line and whatnot and everything where Peter thinks they're going to hug that ends up, paying off in Endgame. But moments later, 2 months later, we see, Flash, Ned get introduced to Liz, and, we get a quick dose of MJ, Liz being, of course, Peter's crush. We get a quick dose of MJ, who kind of just pops in and out of the film in these little cutscenes and whatnot, just to call them losers and shit like that and whatnot. And no, she's not Mary Jane Watson at all for the movie. Her name is Michelle, I believe. Yeah, in the actual in the MCU. But she's called MJ. We have basically we see him interacting in high school, whatnot, and everything. we get introduced to, the actors and actresses that portray all of the characters that are sort of his friend, group or whatnot, and his decathlon teammates, his academic decathlon teammates, with Martin Starr as Mr. Harrington, from, I believe, the Incredible Hulk film. As sort of like, I believe he's like a science teacher, and he's also the coach of the decathlon team, the academic decathlon. And we see him basically, we see the decathlon, team, and having like practice or whatever and whatnot, and Peter not wanting to go with them to like the nationals in Washington because he doesn't want to miss a call from Tony Stark or whatever and whatnot, right? Under the ACER that he has, of course, the Stark scholarship that he tells everybody that he has, which somehow people believe. We see him meet Mr. Delman at the shop owner, whatnot, and everything, and banter with him and everything before changing his clothes in an alley. Totally comic book accurate with that. Great soundtrack in this film too. And him actually going into action, suiting up and whatnot and everything, and fighting crime on a small scale level here in, here. I don't live in New York anymore, Jeff. In New York, fighting, street crime and whatnot. Everything. Stops the thug on the bike, fights some crime, calls Happy to leave a voicemail report. He's kind of just an irritant to like Tony and Happy in a way. And I'll stop there. So Andre's the pop culture guy. Your thoughts on the introduction of the film, sir, and any thoughts overall, about, that whole first scenes and I guess the actors and actresses that play the different characters and whatnot, anything like that?
Sure. Well, first though, we need to address the elephant in the room that is called a timeline. Like when we cut in to now the Vulture's business being bloom, getting big, it's say 8 years later, and that's not so true. Because that just completely doesn't make sense in terms of the timeline. So I just want to bring that up because that was a big, a stickler thing that was coming out of the film was that 8 years timeline card. That it's just so bizarre. Sony is so stupid. Anyway, the opening was really cool. Like seeing a different perspective of seeing the Battle of New York, aftermath. And so, because we saw that a little bit in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and we saw like how it affected our characters, like Captain America and Iron Man, in Phase 2, like Iron Man 3 and Winter Soldier. So this was cool to see a different angle of it, and like see how it affected with the normies, the lower people, and so it was really cool. And the introduction of Vulture was really great, and you see like way away who he is, and how he's gonna get to the point of being the villain, and so like everything is just so clear and cut as a film storytelling perspective, which is nice. I always thought when he punched the guy for commenting on how he just like expended too much of himself with the job, and that scene was really great because that guy was such a douche. And I really like this kind of cool because if they stuck with the post-credit scene, like you couldn't easily got the Sinister Six with Vulture and Scorpion and his pal, the second Shocker. Like they really set that up in Homecoming here. But yeah, and what else? And then after that, I like how they did it again with a different perspective with Civil War. So it was really cool and funny to see, Peter filming this and making a film by Peter Parker, which was hilarious. And I mean, I agree, Jeff. Tom Holland right away is like such a perfect casting of Peter Parker. Like he feels like a kid. That was the thing that was actually kind of cool with this third version of Spider-Man, that he was actually a high school student.
You mean Tom Holland, sir?
Yeah, Tom Holland. Yeah, thank you. Because the two previous Spider-Man actors we have were just college students or college/adult Spider-Mans, like the 90s cartoon. And so we never had a chance to spend time in high school. That was the one thing that I like about this new trilogy, is that we spent time in the high school element. So that was very refreshing. And you get the sense that Tom Holland Spider-Man is a kid. And that was the fun part about this, opening scene. And his interaction with Happy and Tony is hilarious. Like, especially Happy. Like, it's very funny now seeing their relationship grow in the trilogy, and it's just so crazy. He just sees Peter as this annoying, kid that he has to like babysit. It's so funny. But yeah, this opening just I felt like, oh yeah, we're in a good Spider-Man movie, which is good. It's really the third act that I really like the movie, and we'll get into that later. So overall, great opening. Just the minor nitpicks, just the 8-year title card, which doesn't make sense. So, but anyway, it's all in the past. So yeah, overall, great opening.
Kyle.
The interesting thing with how this movie opens, Tom Holland is great as Peter Parker and Spider-Man. I think one of my few knocks about this though is he's almost a little too fanboyish, but just that's never been something that was ever in the Peter Parker character, was this fanboying out, other than maybe a little bit to Tony Stark. But it was more of like just a little bit of hero worship with Tony Stark. But everything here with Peter is just it's actually a wise decision, because it is a high school kid, and I think they were trying to get more of that accurate than the high school 16 going on 40 version of Peter Parker from the original comics. But everything hits perfectly. It sets up the film very well. We understand the Vulture's motivations right out of the get go, and we get that enthusiasm from Spider-Man. And they play up on the fun aspect of it. First, he's thrown into a full Avengers battle right out of the gate, and then the next thing you know, he's like being ignored and like just kind of the thorn and happy side, and he's just be the little neighborhood Spider-Man kid. And it's like, oh hey, we're going to put you in the big leagues, but then you're going to play one game and then go right back down. We're not going to let you up anytime soon. So it's fun to watch how that plays out. And there's a lot there, like you said, Jeff, there's a lot of little comic accurate moments in this, but its opening is such a good setup for the film. And I think I'm going to just be honest for me personally, I think it's good that they stayed away from the Uncle Ben origin in this one. It's kind of like Batman's parents. How many times do we need to see it? And I thought when they later on in this film, they actually give a nice little tribute to Uncle Ben and recognize him in one aspect, but getting a Spider-Man he's been through his origin already. This is more of now, okay, it's time to stop being the kid and grow up. But that's the fun of this film, is that we see him starting off as this kid who's not maybe taking everything as seriously as he should, and the process that he goes through. But for setup across the board, this sets up all the motivations of this film incredibly well.
Excellent. Thank you, Kyle. Cyberneticshark, sir?
So the beginning of this film is really fun. I really enjoyed it. I think that the montage of him, his Civil War debut was really funny. Him every moment he's got to have the phone with him to record it and stuff like that. And then him finding out about the new suit and stuff like that was super hilarious. That backflip he does. That looked just so like on wires, which was super funny. But like that whole scenario was super funny, and especially the car ride afterwards where Tony's returning him and they're like having the conversation, and like he thinks that Tony tries to hug him, and you're just kind of like, we're not there yet. No. And that was super funny. I cracked up because I could tell right there and then that scene right there probably had enough bloopers to cover a whole blooper reel, because Robert Downey Jr. was doing some funny shit there, which was absolutely hilarious. I just knew they were cracking up at each other. And so like that whole beginning is really fun, kind of introducing him like through that way, and then showing him kind of like, looking at his phone every 5 seconds, see if Tony or Happy has, contacted him, stuff like that, and him look at the clock every 5 seconds, him trying to make some new web fluids and stuff like that. It was really fun. And, you get all these kind of great, sequences. I mean, the intro to Vulture is, I think one of the better introductions to a villain that I've seen in a film. We get that good kind of intro there at the beginning, showing him in 2012 after, Avengers 1, building up things, and then damage control coming in and taking over and screwing him over. And To me, that just felt like, when he decided to do what he did was like, you stick it to the man type of deal, which I understood that. I got it. And I think that that's another great thing about this character is the fact that I think out of all the villains we've had, this felt like just a normal guy off the street that was doing what he needed to be necessary. So that I feel showed a really good villain because, like William said before, the construction of his character was really well written and really brought to life through that concept there. So I think that overall, that right there alone makes him one of the best villains that we've seen in an MCU film. And but I mean, Tyne Daly popping up there was absolutely freaking hilarious. Being a part of Damage Control, I was cracking up at that because I'm like, out of all the people you could get, Tyne Daly, like, why would you pick her? Like, that just seems the most random person to pick. And I thought she did a great job. I thought she was really fun there. But then, yeah, the jump 8 years, which if you were going by real time frame, that would have brought you to 2020 if that actual 8 years had gone by. So if you think about it, though, Avengers Endgame, is supposed to take place 5 years after Thanos' snap, which is supposed to take us to 2023. So that doesn't make sense there at all in the MCU timeline, unless you actually, deduct some numbers and stuff like that. So I get where you're coming from, Andre, there, because that number count just didn't seem right. Because if that had been put in literal age, that would have been 2020 when Spider-Man Homecoming was happening, and then 3 years later he would have came back after the snap. So it kind of makes sense, but they never really clarify that for anybody out there. They don't really mention that, but I think it's funny they said it was 8 years later. So I agree with that. But yeah, like the whole sequence in the school was really fun. Him going out and doing his neighborly Spider-Man duty. I'm sorry, Jeff. Where did you go to? I don't want to go
before Peter runs into the Avengers, Robin, the ATM.
Okay. So then we have that great kind of montage sequence there. Where Peter's out doing his, neighborly Spider-Man thing. We see him like doing flips on that line. We see him like trying to help people with the bike. That bike thing was funny. Oh, can you hold this for a second? And is this somebody's bike? That was funny. We used a note on it. And the Asian guy that's trying to open his car and he like stabs into it, and you get one of the, I think one of the best Stan Lee cameos there. And he's like up there and he's like, take it down, you punk, and stuff like that, which was really super funny. And then he's talking to that older lady across the way, which was really fun too. And but then you have him calling Happy to let them know what he's been doing, which is super funny as hell. And he's talking about how he got a churro. And the sequence there where he's on the very top of the roof and that one like food vendor guy says, "Are you Spider-Man?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Prove it." And he does the backflip. I don't know if anybody notices that's the same guy that was in Shang-Chi that's on the bus, video recording Shang-Chi's performance on the bus. That's the same guy. And I believe he's supposed to be the same character. I'm not 100% sure of that, but that is the same actor, which I think is funny as hell that they had him in another film. And but that whole sequence is so much fun because it's just like you gotta get an idea of kind of where Spider-Man is at a little bit, kind of like where his mindset is, kind of what he's been up to. Because at this point, he still has only been Spider-Man for 6 months or so. So like he's still very fresh, green up, becoming Spider-Man. So really fun there. And then leading up to the, of course, there's the great scene where he goes in to get the sandwich and the gummies at that little deli place. And he asks about the daughter, which was really funny. He's like, and he all of a sudden overcharges him for the sandwich, which was funny as hell. But that cat in that sequence was funny to see because he's like petting the cat. And all I could think of was, I'm like, oh my God, is there another cat that's like Goose? Holy shit. And so I was like cracking up when he pets the cat and stuff like that, which I thought was really funny. But once he gets to the scene where he has to stop the fake Avengers at the ATM, that sequence is funny as hell too, because he comes in and he sees them and they're like picking up all the cash and stuff like that, and he like kind of like puts his arm on the side, like trying to act like he's so cool and stuff like that. I'm Spider, like what you guys doing? Type of deal, which was really funny, and that's just really great, action packed, really fun, and I think that they did a really good job there. And all of them wearing the fake Avenger mask was super hilarious too. And but I mean, the visual effects in that sequence after that it blows up was really cool too. All in all, really great beginning to the film, really enjoyable, a lot of fun.
William, my friend, go ahead.
I thought it was cool because it established him as being a normal kid. We know he's not, but it established him as a normal kid because you saw a kid trying to be a hero, and you saw how a kid can struggle. Being 14, you saw him have to go through all the phases in high school and things like that, but then he also comes around and balances everything to be with Spider-Man. So the hero to kid balance I thought was fantastic, because a lot of times you get more of a character leaning toward the hero side and not the humor side. So I thought, and that's what I think was the strength of the movie. But I just thought that the opening was great. You saw everybody get established early. Didn't wait around to establish folks. You saw him get established early. I thought that it was a good beginning to the movie.
Do you want to expand it all? Go ahead. Feel free if you want, if you'd like.
Well, the other thing that I thought that was sort of kind of interesting at the beginning of it was the fact that when you saw him go against the Avengers, I thought he was gonna, I don't know, because it seemed to be in the movie he wasn't completely, at least at the beginning, like he was trying to still learn his powers. So I was sort of kind of shocked that he fought so well in the beginning of the movie. I get toward the end because he's fully acclimated, had to get used to the suit and not get used to the suit and then go through the ending and try to find himself. But I thought it was kind of interesting because it looked, when he fought the Avengers onto the middle, he sort of kind of wasn't really used to being a hero at that point. Like he was trying to figure things out with his powers. But other than that, I thought was a good beginning to the movie.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and play our first trailer. And give me 1 second. And I'll start right off with you, William. When we go into the next phase of the film, you'll be the first person.
Okay.
This is my chance to prove myself.
What's up, guys? Wait a minute. You guys aren't the real Avengers. I can tell Hulk gives it away. Oh, that was awesome.
Is Liz the new top?
No, we've seen that before. Never with that skirt.
Should probably stop staring before he gets creepy, though.
Too late. You guys are losers.
So, to become an Avenger, are there like trials or an interview?
Just don't do anything I wouldn't do. And definitely don't do anything I wouldn't do. There's a little gray area in there, and that's where you operate.
Oh.
All right?
That's not a hug. I'm just grabbing the door for you.
All right, kid.
Good luck out there.
Listen, I know school sucks.
Peter, you still with us? Yeah.
I know you want to save the world. But you're not ready yet.
You're the Spider-Man.
No, I'm not. I'm not. This is just a costume. This is from the ceiling.
Stay close to the ground. And stay out of trouble. Forget the flying monster guy. There are people who handle this sort of thing.
I'm so sick of them treating me like a kid all the time.
But you are a kid.
This is my chance to prove myself.
Peter, what is going on with you?
I'm really sorry. I'm so busy. I'm slammed.
Don't mess with me, because I will kill you and everybody you love.
Okay. All right. So that was I believe the second trailer. That's not the first one. That was the second trailer that came out, wasn't it, guys? Anybody want to confirm that for me?
I think that was the second
Second
one.
one?
Yeah, it was the second one.
Yeah,
The
that was
other one, I think, is the first
yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so where we left off basically was where and I just want to point out, of course, as I was pointing out in the private chat, that the Liz actress, who I'm sure is above age now, is smoking hot in the film. Let's see. What's up, Raymond? Booze and chill. Yes, William, they nailed that element so very well. We saw Teach Peter struggling to be a teacher as well as Spider-Man. Very fucking cool.
Mhm.
I want to know I'm surprised they didn't. When are they gonna it was so funny when they caught Ned and Ned's like, I'm watching porn. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, anyways, but either way, thank you. It's good to see you, Raven. I hope you're doing well, brother. Where we left off was when Peter basically clashes into what he terms as the Avengers, which is a bunch of basically, I believe, people that bought weapons and technology and whatnot from Toombs and his people, and they're just criminals and whatnot, everything that are trying to like pull off or take down a bank. And he takes them on, and they've got some of that Chitauri tech redesigned into like projectile, foreign weapons and whatnot and everything. And it ends up basically destroying the entire building where Mr. Del Monte's shop is located and whatnot. Everything, it's leveled. And Peter goes over there and like he's okay and whatnot, and helps him get out of the rubble. He's saved. But obviously Peter recognizes and sees the danger and power that these people, the tech that they had, and he's like, what the fuck is this? And basically the Avengers, it turns out, are moving upstate to the New York base that we see later on in the MCU. And Peter overhears this when he's talking to Happy on the phone. And, Peter wants to be, an Avenger. He wants to be Iron Man. He wants to, be in the big leagues and whatnot. And he doesn't like being a kid and whatnot and everything and brushed off or whatever. And so basically we see him sneak into the apartment. Ned sees that he's Spider-Man. And we get some really funny, scenes in the next couple of sequences that we get where we see him in high school and Ned kind of peppering him with questions and telling him what he'd do if he had the powers that he has, that, that Peter's received from getting bit by the radioactive spider. And they're supposed to finish the Death Star, like Lego toy or whatever, whatnot, everything. That's how boring Peter's life is. That's what Ned and he were going to be doing that night. And now remember, Aunt May doesn't know that he's Spider-Man still. And so we see Aunt May pop in and she's like, oh, Peter, put some clothes on. Tom Holland is chiseled. Like he ain't even playing. Right? Like you saw him in the trailer. Of course, they had to put a scene on with him with no shirt on. Right? In the trailer, William. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yeah.
Stoke all them young girls' fires and shit and whatnot. You've seen all them Tom Holland fangirls on TikTok. They go get a hold of Tom Holland in real life, dude. They'd sword his ass, he'd be dead. They tear him apart. But so Ned even asked him, are you an Avenger? And I love how Tom Holland pulls off like the whole Peter, like, he's so such a good person, such a good young man. It's hard for him to lie, you know what I mean, and whatnot, right? Like, he wants to be cool, whatnot, and popular, but he's just not. And so either way, of course, Marissa Tomei plays Aunt May. Aunt May and Peter go out and have dinner. We see on the news the area that was, from the crime scene from the night before with the Avengers, and the bank heist, and basically, Peter explains the whole, he's explained at that point the whole situation with what happened to him to Ned. So Ned now knows that he's Spider-Man. It turns out that he got some tech from that crime scene the night before, whatnot, and him and Ned kind of play around with it, whatnot, and everything. And Peter's in like science class, I believe it is, basically trying to take it apart, trying to figure out what it is. And based off that, and there's a dope ass Captain America video, like a Captain America workout video, that we see in this clip of scenes and whatnot. And it's really great. It's the first out of 2 ones, the actual Captain America like high school videos. This one's like a workout video, but of course the teacher actually, I think it's the gym teacher actually says, you know, I don't know if that, I think that I heard that guy's a criminal now, coming off a civil war or whatever and whatnot. So, in that scene, we see that the girls are like crushing on all the Avengers, like men and whatnot, everything in Spider-Man, and Liz likes Spider-Man. Peter gets invited to Liz's party. Him and Ned go, and of course he dips off because he's Spider-Man. That's what he does. MJ's there doing another little scene. Zendaya's there and everything. I can't believe you guys are there at this lame party. Those are the little quips that she always see her pop in and drop off. Of course, you get the you have to have like the Flash making fun of Peter scene and whatnot at that point too, real quick, because that's all Flash does. You know, and so Peter goes out to change into his suit, and he like doesn't know whether he's going to try to impress Liz or what he's going to do, but he sees another one of he sees like this explosion, and it's another one of the illegal alien Chitauri guns being tested, and we see Donald Glover's character Aaron making a gun deal and being like, yo, I didn't want none of this crazy shit. I just wanted a regular gun. Right. And of course we see, I believe his name is, what is it? What is the one actor's name? The bovine actor, that I've seen in a lot of really good stuff. He's really good.
Did you just say bovine, like a cow?
Bokeem Woodbine is the one that plays the second Shocker, right?
Yeah.
And he sees him. Yes, I did say that, Cyber. Sometimes I just say things that aren't even real words. It happens. But so we see him there making a deal, and a cell phone goes off. Was that Peter's cell phone or was that Aaron's? Kyle,
I believe it was Peter's.
That was Peter's cell phone going off.
Peter's cell phone, yeah, that goes off. And that's when the Tomb's thugs kind of turn against Aaron's character, and they one of the characters lists off, and I'll go to you, William, and I'll go around to you guys and see, if anybody can list off all the different things that he lists off that they have. But he says they have like anti-grav climbers and all this crazy shit. And basically, Peter gets involved. He webs himself up to the van and gets shot at by the character that is not yet the second Shocker of the film, Herman. That's I believe that's Bokeem Woodbine's character's name is Herman. They call the boss, and Peter swings through like a pool party and shit and whatnot and everything when he gets shook off the van. He's trying to take him down. They're shooting at him. Vulture shows up, and Peter webs onto him, and the Vulture basically just takes him up into altitude and then just drops him into the Hudson River. Of course, Tony Stark pops up as Iron Man, saves his ass out of the water and everything and whatnot, and they go and talk and whatnot and everything, and Tony kind of basically just tells them, hey, back off, let the authorities handle this shit with this dude and whatnot and everything and whatnot. Like, this is not the Avengers territory. This is not your territory. Let the authorities handle these people and whatnot and everything. And tells them flat out, if Cap wanted to lay you out back in London, he would have, right, to kind of set him straight. And I'll stop there before we get back to Tomb's shop, where he ends up having to basically take care of the first Shocker. William, your thoughts, sir? And anything you want to say about the trailer?
And here's where it sort of kind of what I said, he looked like he was like trying to get new to his powers, because you saw he was like, I don't know if it was the surroundings or whatnot, but you saw he had like trouble web slinging and landing correctly and things of that nature. That was a part of the movie where, to me, it looked like he was still trying to figure some of this stuff out. You saw him slide over the pool. You saw him slide into a tent with the two girls in there, and they scream, ah! You saw that. So that was kind of the area of the movie where I thought, hey, he could have done better. If he was more refined, he could have done better. And I guess in the suburbs, I know it's probably different from web swinging from building to building, in New York City versus going to the suburbs, where it's a little more confined. So I get that part. But I do, that part of the movie was also interesting.
I don't know what he'd be attaching to, William, out in the suburbs really that well. You know what I'm saying? Like, to be completely honest with you, I'm glad you mentioned that, because the suburbs is not a good area for Spider-Man to be able to latch on things.
Guys, they actually pulled that from a classic Spider-Man comic where he goes off after this petty criminal who basically just got really lucky and embarrassed him, and he tracks him down to suburbia. And the whole issue is just nothing but Spider-Man failing at things because he can't. His powers just don't work in that kind of environment, and they pull a lot from that. Plus, playing up on a younger Peter not being that experienced as well. But a lot of that was that tribute to that. It was a classic issue of Amazing Spider-Man.
Well, William, I know I'm not the only one that noticed in Avengers Endgame when Spider-Man comes back that he's latching onto nothing, like he's swinging off of air.
Yeah.
But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You talking about the end scene? That's a good point too.
He's not like supported by anything. He's just swinging off the air.
He's just shooting webs, and that's it.
It works though. No, but go ahead. Keep on rolling.
It does work. It does work. But the center of the movie, I was a little disappointed with Ned, just a little bit. Because the thing with Ned, he wants to go tell everybody. Bro, this supposed to be your boy. You're supposed to protect him. You're supposed to protect him. If you go around telling everybody he's Spider-Man, what the heck? But again, this true respect to him being a kid. But you can't tell everybody your friend's secret like that. Come on, man. They should have wrote that a little bit better. But that was my only gripe. Everything else about that second part, and the use of his powers in the suburb, those are my only two gripes with that second half, that second part of the movie. Everything else was cool.
Kyle.
To what William was saying about Ned, though, is I think actually was an accurate portrayal because come on, you just find out your best friend is like one of the most popular superheroes in school.
I'm not saying it's not accurate. I'm not saying it's not accurate. I just don't like the fact that he wanted to. Could I go tell somebody?
Yeah. Well, but the other nice thing about that too is when they had that conversation, he's like, you especially can't tell May. She's been through enough. So there's again a kind of an undercurrent thing about Uncle Ben as well. But
right.
All of this setup is so cool. And Jeff, you were talking about the Iron Man scene. What's so great about that is that he just sends a suit of armor. It's not Tony Stark in the armor. It's like, oh, hey, I'm on a cell phone.
Yeah. That's right. It's not Iron Man. It's just
you lucky I got Wi-Fi here. You're lucky I got Wi-Fi.
Which of course sets it up later for when Tony is actually in the armor, and that so that plays up great there. But this is a section where you're really getting a lot of Peter's high school life and him trying to find the balance of this, and it's actually very well done because you see how much he cares and how much he tries, but they pull with great power comes great responsibility without even saying it, because instead of going to be what every other kid would do, would be to go capitalize on being Spider-Man and get popular. He's going out there to stop this guns arms deal going down, and of course, in typical Parker luck, it goes sideways on him. But that's one of the brilliance of this movie is that they grow Peter throughout this movie. And I know I have to leave shortly, so I just want to kind of throw a couple of things out there. Is that you see him grow through this film and realize what it really means to be a hero and what needs to be done, and the hard lessons he learns not only from Tony but just from his own actions. But there's so much fun that's in this film too. One of my favorite things is the introduction of the suit AI, of course, voiced by the amazing Jennifer Connelly, and which of course, yeah, really,
I didn't know. Okay.
Which, when you look at real life, the inside joke was, of course, her husband was the voice of Jarvis,
Remember
and
that.
now she's the voice of Spider-Man.
You mean Karen, right? Before we get Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's really where we get Friday, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it's Karen in this one, and then it's in Friday in Infinity War.
Yeah, but then to the whole thing with like the training wheels settings that were in the suit when they hacked the suit. I think that was hilarious. But just
that was funny.
The film also, one of the things too I wanted to shout out is how accurate they get Spider-Man's fighting style and how well they do that. And it helps that Tom Holland is in phenomenal shape and a professionally trained dancer and everything that helps with that. But I mean, this movie really does do a phenomenal job of establishing this Spider-Man for the MCU.
And this is early Spider-Man. We're not even talking about Way of the Spider yet.
Yeah, and the other thing that's so great is, and this is something I truly believe too, is with Tom Holland playing Spider-Man. He is the first one that I truly believe had a true balance of Spider-Man and Peter Parker. I thought Tobey Maguire had a great feel for Peter Parker, but I thought his Spider-Man at times was a little lacking. And with Andrew Garfield, I thought his Spider-Man was great, especially with the quibs and everything like that. But his Peter Parker was just a bit too cool. And here you've got Peter Parker, who's a great Spider-Man, making quib lines and stuff like that. But you've got this nerdy Peter Parker who's just incredibly awkward enough socially that he just doesn't quite fit in. And that's something they play up through this entire film, and they just do a phenomenal job. And Keaton as the Vulture is amazing. Is this the best Spider-Man film of the MCU? No, I still think it's No Way Home, but this one is a great picking up where they introduced Spider-Man in Civil War, much like what Black Panther did for Black Panther, from the introduction of Civil War to that. These two films in that aspect are very similar in that they will just boost those characters up even more and help them find their place in the MCU. I got to bounce because unfortunately real life kicks in and work becomes a responsibility. But
I feel you on that, brother.
Yeah. I'm going to just give my quick rating for this. I would give this 4 out of 5. I think there's a few things in here that kind of drop it a little bit, and when you compare it to the other films in the MCU, I put this in my top half of my MCU films because I think it's one of the more revisitable films of the MCU as well, because it clocks in at a good time and it's fun, and you have such an enjoyment with it. And it really establishes Tom Holland as the Spider-Man of the MCU. And I think it's going to be interesting going forward if Spider-Man 4 happens, and with the reset they did at the end of No Way Home, what they're going to do with that. Are we going to see characters from these 3 films return, or are they going to go full reboot and just say this is the new life for this Peter Parker and introduce a proper MJ, introduce some of the other classic supporting characters? Because for me, I think that's still my one knock on all 3 of these films. Nothing against Zendaya. She's a phenomenal young actress.
I think, I don't mean to cut you off, but I believe that they'll probably, if anything, they'll shift the MCU schedule to make sure that they get out another Spider-Man film.
Well, it gets a little complicated
on time for us and whatnot.
Yeah. It gets a little complicated with Sony, but I think the MCU is in such a state of flux right now that they're not 100% sure of the directions they're going.
They have a deal set up, don't they? Already locked in. So whatever bullshit's going on with the MCU right now, everything is already settled between Sony and Disney and Kevin Feige. Right? They hammered out their deal and everything already.
Right. I think Holland has one more movie under contract right now. So it'll be interesting to see which direction they go in. But I know that they're also there's been a lot of talk of they want to convert Spider-Man back to more of his street level.
Well, we never got the full public give out on what the whole deal was with the the last contract. No one really knows the full scope. But
yeah, it gets bizarre. But I just in closing, I want to say that I think if they can keep Holland, I think the future is very bright, especially if their plan is like Kevin Feige said at Comic-Con. It was where he hinted at getting Spider-Man back to being more street level villains or heroes. So I think that's good. But I want to thank you guys for letting me come on, talk a little Spider-Man. Of course, you can find me on the Fandom Podcast Network, where we, of course, have our Marvel show, True Believers, and we cover so much more on there. Jeff has got our podcast page up on fpnet.podbean.com. You can see all the network shows we've got on our network right now. And of course, we do have a YouTube channel as well, Fandom Podcast Network on YouTube. We're just trying to grow that out. So please go there, give us a like, a subscribe. We do a lot of fun stuff there, including reviews of modern stuff, some fun retro reviews with our Time War program and Couch Potato Theater. So we have a ton of fun, and we try to cover a bit of everything there, from Star Wars to Marvel to retro to whatever's going on there. So thanks you guys so again for having me on for this. I'm sorry I have to but a little early, but with great paycheck comes great responsibility. Got to earn that paycheck.
No problem, Kyle. We're happy. We're
No
happy.
problem.
Exactly, my brother. I feel you.
And hopefully you'll be back. We've got some stuff planned content-wise and whatnot that we've already hashed out and talked about. So once we formulate that, we'll do it.
Jeff, good to see you. Cyber, always good to see you. Andres, good to see you again. Good to meet you, William.
Good to meet
Hopefully
you.
we can hook up on another
All right,
podcast.
Kyle.
Thanks,
We love
guys.
you. Tell Kevin we said hello.
Yeah, we'll do. See you guys.
Bye.
Later.
All right, Cyberneticshark, sir. You are next, and we are going right up until the point where they actually were basically where we go back to Toombs' shop and Toombs has to take out the first shocker.
Okay. So after the Avengers sequence, that's when Peter makes his way back home. Ned finds out that he's Spider-Man. He's got the awesome Lego Star Wars Death Star thing, which is so awesome. I wish I could have built that with Ned. That would have been awesome. But anyways, so we get that sequence, and then that's when we see freaking Ned ask like 3 billion questions. If he lays eggs, if he shoots venom, all this kind of stuff, which is really funny. And Peter just kind of goes, no, and stuff like that. Like he's like, no, and stuff like that. And like we see them basically at school, and he keeps asking them things. Eventually, to where they're in gym class, and basically we get kind of that great little scene there where there's people up in the stands talking about Spider-Man, and Liz likes Spider-Man, and so freaking Ned decides he's gonna pipe up and to get Peter to tell her that he likes her and stuff like that, and gets kind of Peter into kind of a pickle there for a second, and basically Ned's just trying to edge him on, and stuff like that, saying, oh, you could do better, and basically like Kyle was saying, we get a lot of just like kind of Peter Parker school time here, and eventually that's when we get to Peter getting invited to that party. Him and Ned go into that party, and saying that Spider-Man will be there because Peter knows him, and they make it to the party. Of course, they get dropped off by hot Aunt May. And just to kind of go into that hot Aunt May thing there for a second, Marissa Tomei, who turns 59 next month, she is amazing. She is gorgeous. She is awesome. Love her. And one of my favorite films of hers is My Cousin Vinny.
My Cousin Vinny, baby, as I was about to say.
Oh my God, one of her best fucking films to date. She's absolutely awesome in that film. Her and the awesome, Joe Pesci.
Don't forget a different world.
What?
Don't forget a different world.
She was in a different world, yes. But I was mainly thinking of My Cousin Vinny because I absolutely love that freaking movie. But there were several outfits she wore in that movie that were just like, damn.
She was in The Wrestler too, and she looked damn good.
And I was like, but she was like so freaking funny in that. She definitely deserved the nomination for the Oscar and stuff that year and winning. And she just was so cool in that. And so it was like when they did cast her in this, and I was like, really? They're going younger at me. I'm like, that's an odd choice. Just like what you were saying earlier, William, about how there's no Uncle Ben in this because they decided not to do an origin story for once. Like he's already been Spider-Man for 6 months. And so I think that was kind of an interesting choice, and having her be the Aunt May was very interesting too. She even has mentioned since being Aunt May that she kind of hates that she took the role because now like all the young guys are like into her and stuff like that, and she doesn't like that, and which I kind of crack up. I'm like, what older woman doesn't want the younger guys looking at them? I'm like, yeah, come on. You should be happy. You should be happy. Which I find hilarious. But at the same time, though, I think she was fun. I thought she was a decent Aunt May. It was different seeing like a kind of a younger, hipper, especially that because she kept wearing, I felt like all her clothes were like very 70s inspired in all the movies. So I think that's kind of funny. But anyways, so yeah, moving on from there, going to the party. Of course, we get that great kind of Flash sequence where he's like penis Parker and stuff like that, which was really funny. And Tony Rivoli, I absolutely love that dude. I think he's absolutely hilarious, and I love that character.
Didn't you have to bulk up for that?
You should have saw William. You should have seen him in Willow, man. Jesus Christ.
Didn't you have to bulk up for that role?
I don't think so.
A little bit?
No, I don't think so.
I thought I read somewhere he had to bulk up for that.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
We saw him in Willow, and he's bigger. He looks bigger in Willow than he does in this film and whatnot and everything. And he was actually not that bad, right, Cyber? Willow, but it was the rest of the cast I think that Barry's.
Well, the reason why I said that is because the reason why I asked is because if you look at Flash overall, particularly when you come from the comics, he's a big hulking football dude.
Yeah,
so,
he is.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
So yeah, Tony Revolio, I'm sure had probably put on a little bit of weight for the role because he was a lot thinner when he did Grand Budapest Hotel a couple years prior. But I absolutely love him as Flash. I think he was interesting and different choice to pick for Flash and make it a totally different type of character. Especially as he evolves through the other two films, he freaking is hilarious. And I just think he's a good actor. I enjoy him. But you get that great sequence. You know, Peter, decides that he'll do a appearance of Spider-Man. He goes outside, kind of talks to himself, say, "Oh, what I'll say," and stuff like that. But then, like everyone said, he sees the beam of light from across the way. Realizes it's probably one of those, weapons. So he goes to check it out. When he gets there, there's Donald Glover and. Of course, Bokeem Woodbine, and then the other gentleman, who is the first Bone Crusher, or not Bone Crusher, Shocker. And so they're kind of having a conversation, and Donald Glover's kind of like, I don't want something like that. I just want something for show, basically. What are you trying to upsell me for? He's like, oh, God, okay, good dude, And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, music starts playing, and it's Peter's phone, and Ned's calling him, and basically he pops down and like says, "You're gonna shoot at somebody, shoot at me." And Bokeem Woodbine's like, "Oh, okay." And they basically into a great kind of action-packed sequence there. I love it. Peter grabs onto the van, is sliding across the asphalt and stuff like that, which is really fun. They end up eventually calling Toombs to come and basically take care of the problem. By the time they're at kind of towards the end of the fight, that's when Toombs shows up, grabs him, pulls him all the way up in the air. The suit decides to deploy a parachute because it's one of the protocols that's in the suit that Tony installed into it. Basically makes him fall down and splash in the water. He almost drowns, but thankfully Iron Man shows up to save him. And we get kind of that.
Because I thought he was a goner. I really did think because that shoot was around him pretty good too.
Yeah.
Spider strength, I know that thing was around him.
Totally. And they have that little conversation, and Tony's not even there having the conversation. He's somewhere in like India or something like that, talking via satellite. And they have that great conversation. He's like, it's always good to think about college and stuff like that, which was absolutely hilarious. And him trying to explain to him, it's like, no, you stay away from that, blah, blah, basically. And, that's when Peter makes his way back to the party, and Ned calls him again, tells him, don't even bother coming, because once again, Flash is doing penis Parker talk. And basically, that's kind of where it ends. Until we go back to seeing Toombs at his hideout. And that leads up to, of course, him taking out that first Shocker guy. The guy that played the first Shocker, that guy like seemed like such an asshole. And like
an asshole.
I'm like, and I just remember thinking to myself watching it and just going, "Damn, this guy is still as annoying as he was the first time I watched this film." I'm like, Jesus, he is just really good at playing an asshole kind of character. And when Michael Keaton goes to grab that gun, he's like, "Does this work?" He's like, "I don't know." The toy maker guy, who is supposed to be the toy maker from the comics.
His tech guy would be the toy maker. His head tech guy.
Yeah, he's supposed to be. He's a version of that. And
really? Wow.
Yep. If you look at the credits, it says his name too.
Nothing like the toy maker at all in the comics. The toy maker of the comics is like a totally different kind of fucking character.
Yeah, well, Sony and Marvel working together. And he's like, I don't know. He's like, okay, and he grabs it anyways and shoots him and basically disintegrates the guy. And just kind of like, okay, that was. And everyone's like, what? And he's like, I thought this was the anti-gravity gun. And I'm just like thinking to myself, like, sure, Toombs,
And that's
sure.
and I didn't want you to go that far, but I'm glad you went ahead and talked about that, because that's what I'm talking about with all the tech that they have. They list off all the shit they have. They have like some crazy shit. I mean, whatever that was, it just vaporizes the fucking dude, like the gun that he shoots him with. But Andres, Cyber, let me cut you off right there. Let's get Andres in, and then let's move on so we can get William out of here and whatnot, and then we'll wrap this bitch up. Time Lord, sir. Thoughts?
Yeah, thoughts. Yeah.
Year 2063.
Well, no. All right. So after,
did you time jump during the podcast and we don't know?
He could be in a different year right now.
No. I was doing what Spider-Man was doing, just helping out my neighborhood with all the freaks and super villains. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. While I'm sitting down here, like the Flash. Anyway, so yeah, so the bank, AMT, Avengers, fake, robbers was pretty awesome. I mean, I like the comedy in that. Speaking of the comedy, we haven't discussed. I really like the comedy of this movie so much more than the next two movies. The writers that did this, Jonathan and Gleason, the two writers that did Game Night and the new movie Dungeons and Dragons, the Undermine things this year, they did such a good job of just getting like the humor right for Spider-Man and like the comedy timing so well. And I think that's one of the things I really enjoyed about this film is just the comedy and the like low key sense of superhero like should be, like him rolling around in the neighborhood, trying to stop like, the bicycle thief and all that. It's really realistic. And particularly, with the updates of characters like MJ, and Aunt May, being gone, it makes kind of sense if you think about it. This day age, my my grandma's not like that old. You think about it. Stereotypically, our grandparents are not too old. If you're from my generation or the next. So it makes sense they cast younger Aunt May after having two Aunt Mays like going down from younger to that point. But yeah, so the big theme was really great. Ned Leeds, it's a very fascinating character. I like him. I know he's like very annoying in this part, but I did agree with Kyle, and I think I think that William, you brought it up that like Ned is reacting the way a kid should be. When you find out that your friend is a superhero, I totally get that, but I think they could have maybe cut back from it a little bit. Like I get it, but hey, he's a kid.
You can't tell everybody your boy a superhero. You
Yeah,
can't.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, but anyway, there's fun parts that I like about Ned. Like, I did like his question of like, do you summon an army of spiders? That was funny. Or like, she shoot venom. Some of these moments are very funny. And the hat thing, oh my god, I don't know why.
And when he wore the Spider-Man mask, that was kind of cool too.
Yeah,
the mask on. I said, "What the hell?"
Oh my god, he's so doing real that Spider-Man mask. I don't know, that's so funny. I like him those parts. So yeah, he's a good addition. I like that in this version. I like that Spider-Man had like a friend to talk to. Like from the two films, he was like alone. He never talked to someone. And it was kind of tough for the writers to write some like interesting dialogue. So it was cool that Spider-Man did have like a guy in a chair to talk to, and later when we discuss the next two movies, MJ being part of their like trio, it was a good addition. Yeah, then when they went to the party, like it's classic team pressure. If you're in my position, I was like, oh my god, you're not that popular. It's like trying to make an impression with these like kids that you barely know. And of course with Peter, he's trying to impress this girl Liz, and but yeah, it was just kind of ridiculous. Donald Glover, this is something I'm so annoyed with the Marvel movies is like they cast a good actor, and then they don't do anything with him, and like that always annoys me. And like Donald Glover is such a great actor. He could have been like he's a great actor for The Plower. You know, if we ever get a Miles movie, you know, like he's perfect as Uncle Aaron. Um, but yeah, his scene was really great. And particularly the shockers. I just want to explain the first shocker that gets killed. He's actually the second shocker that takes over the role
in that timeline. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. Yeah, for our comic book fans.
I mentioned it.
Oh, okay. I was kind of like I didn't know we mentioned it not, but yeah, and then the second shocker is the first one. Herman is the first in the comics. But anyway, but yeah, the second actor, the second shocker who looks like Tom Harley, like he is so annoying, and I was so happy that Michael Keaton killed him. And by the way, Keaton is so great in this movie. I love when he say, "Where are you, the Shocker?" I am Shocker. I shock people. What is this wrestling, bro? I totally agree with him. It's like, oh my god, this is so true. And then I agree with you, Jeff. The gravity gun. He thought it was a gravity gun, but it was like some death machine, whatever. Oh my god. So, So to that point, I agree with Kyle. With Pierre's arc here, you can see how he's way over his head dealing with the Vulture. But then at the same time, I do blame Tony because, if Tony, communicate that he actually confirmed the FBI was investigating this whole, alien traffic, weapon black market, Pierre could have been less trouble when he's doing this whole movie, but, that's the story. But it was really cool to be able to see Tony Stark. That's one thing we didn't discuss is the inclusion of Tony Stark. I didn't mind his role. I know a lot of Spider-Man fans were having trouble.
We haven't gone all the way to the end of the movie yet.
No, the discussion of having Iron Man in this Spider-Man
film in general.
Yeah, because there's a Spider-Man film. A lot of people think he's like an Iron Man Jr., which is not true. I think that these films have debunked that completely. And I think this movie did a good job of handling, Iron Man as the mentor for Spider-Man in a way that something like The Flash with Batman just did not work. Here, it just works so much better. And, both Iron Man and Spider-Man are similar people. And I think they do a good job of developing their friendship layer in the MCU. So I don't mind Iron Man's role here. And it's also small. So, but yeah, I really enjoyed these sequences. They're the fun parts. I'm very excited to talk about more about the other half of the film.
Well, since Cyber went ahead and got us into the, Toombs actually just taking out the first shocker, who's basically, let's see here. Logan Marshall Green plays Jackson Bryce, who was the first shocker before, we actually see, the other actors step in and whatnot and everything. Bokeem Woodbine and whatnot, and he becomes basically the second shocker. He's a lot more effective at it too. When we get to the actual scene we're about to get to and whatnot, where we get the ferry scene and whatnot, everything where the Spider-Man Peter intercepts the deal that they have there with the Vulture and his thugs. Basically, when we get back to Toombs' shop, of course, what happens is that the first shocker dude is like, when Toombs lets him go, he talks shit and he's like, dude, that's fine, let me go. I'll go tell your wife and whatnot how you make your money or whatever and whatnot. That's why the Vulture takes him out, why Toombs takes him out. And Toombs don't fuck around. He's ruthless in this film. Herman Schultz is Bokeem Woodbine's character that plays the second shocker.
Tombstone.
No, I said Herman Schultz is the Bokeem Woodbine character. That's the name of the second shocker. That Toombs says you could be the shocker. Right? What did I say? Whatever. Anyways.
Dude, you were saying Toombs, but at the same time saying Tombstone. So that's why I said Tombstone. You said Tombstone.
I don't know, folks. maybe I'm
having to a little bit later.
I'm having a Kevin Costner, Kurt Russell flashback.
You're having a Brie Larson moment.
Yeah. Either way, thanks, Raven. So this is when Peter walks away with the tech that him and Ned play with in science class and whatnot. That's when they actually have, the thugs show up at the high school, and Peter gets a tracer on one of them, the second shocker. They follow it, I believe, to Rochester, isn't it?
Yeah, because he had to go with the with
the
debate team.
Yeah, with the decathlon. That's what Peter says. Yeah, hey, that's near Washington.
Yep.
So Washington's not too far away from there. So basically, that's when Peter joins back with the the decathlon team and whatnot, right? And re-demotes Flash, right? Who was like his fill-in and whatnot. And Happy actually calls the minute that Peter leaves New York. And, so Ned and Peter keep on the tracker and they're like teaming up basically. And Peter really wants, to take care of these goons on his own. And Liz talks to him and tells him, to go for a swim and all this shit and whatnot. And then she's trying to like let him lay some pipe. And, he's too stupid to like take advantage of that shit and whatnot and goes and puts a suit on to go, even though she's fine as fuck, to go fight some crime. And so he suits up and he actually accesses his full use of his suit. And that's when he actually gets the suit like AI or computer or whatever, whatnot, that he labels or calls, what?
Karen.
Yeah. So, basically the goons, Tomb's goons, once he accesses his suit's, the actual capability, not full capability, but it starts talking to the computer, they track down, Tomb's, thugs, and they're actually basically, he follows them to their lair, and they're they end up being in the middle of a heist. I believe it's a shipment of like, I think it's more of the Shatari tech or something like that from the wreckage from the Battle of New York. It's
a mix of Winter Soldier and Age of Ultron. They were talking more. It's from the Winter Soldier with the Shield department. Okay. Yeah, that's what it's.
But either way, the trailer truck that he basically fights them on and whatnot and everything is with damage control. That's where it's going and whatnot and everything. Yep. And Spider-Man, through in the conflict, he falls into the container truck and ends up stuck in the vault at damage control. And we get some great scenes. I know, William, you know what I'm talking about. I love them with him and Karen going back and forth and whatnot and everything. And it's amazing how the Karen chick, like, he's sitting there asking Karen for like relationship advice and everything and whatnot. And you see him actually playing with the suit and all different web, abilities he has with it and whatnot and everything. He's asking Karen for love advice, right, and everything and whatnot. And Karen actually gives it to him and everything and whatnot throughout the process. It's very interesting. I love that one, the actual part. But Carrie Condon voices Karen. Peter gets out of there, right? He's late. He misses the decathlon. And, when he finally does get out of there, and with Karen's help, basically it turns out that device that Ned has, Karen tells him it's a bomb. And so when Peter goes and he calls him and everything, when he tries to show up there, they're at the Washington Monument and whatnot and everything after winning the decathlon event. The divisionals or whatever the hell they were, I can't remember. But either way, they win. They're at the Washington Monument. There's like an MJ woke moment and whatnot and everything with one of the statues. And when the bomb explodes, it ends up trapping a bunch of Peter's friends and whatnot and everything from the decathlon team in the elevator from the Washington Monument. And basically we get a really great action scene where, Peter as Spider-Man scales it and uses Karen, uses his almost like, what was Falcon's little
Red Wing,
almost like his own little Red Wing deal that he has and whatnot, used, through Karen, kind of uses that for him to go ahead and help them out, save his friends. Washington, D.C. police show up and, threaten to shoot at him and whatnot, everything, right? And basically, Peter saves the day, and, we'll stop there so we can get William out of here. William, you want to give your thoughts? We'll stop right at the, where the Tombs finds out that they're basically out of raw materials. Sure. William, your thoughts, sir? And then if you want to drop your rating I'll pull you up and we'll plug you out.
I loved the interaction with Karen. I loved all that AI interaction during that half of the movie. It was kind of cool. I also thought that the suit was telling Peter, "Go on, Peter. Go on, Peter. Kiss her. Kiss her." This is AI.
It was, yeah, it was.
This is AI. We ain't talking about no human being. This is AI telling him to do this. But I thought it was cool to see him go through the web shooters too. Go through the web shooters program, like exploding webs, taser webs. Wait, I didn't want taser webs. I thought that was kind of cool. Just to see him try to get through that. And then you see Vulture come back down, strike again, right on time to go ahead and try to get rid of the man. But like I say, I thought him unlocking the suit was just fantastic. The interaction with AI is cool. The way he went down and saved everybody from the falling elevator to at the end was also awesome. I don't know how he did that with that helicopter. I don't know. I know.
Oh, that was his web gliding.
His web gliders. What's the current? That's what I'm trying to ask. Where's the current for him to do this stuff? You got to have a current to glide. Where's the current? That was my only thing. Was the current? But I'm probably thinking too much into it. But it was.
William, I really dug the Karen thing too, man. I love those.
The Karen thing was awesome. It was awesome.
I mean, and all this shit and whatnot. Like, what is it doing with that AI?
It was awesome, man. And I just thought that interaction was so cool. I also like the way he had the little drone right here in the suit. Click, and it just go out. Hey, go do this and go do that. There you go. But overall, I thought that part of the movie was probably one of the best scenes in the movie because, again, it establishes a relationship, not with somebody. Now, granted, it's someone, it's something. It's not someone, it's something. But it did establish a relationship, and I do like to see that from the heroes because I think a hero has to do more than just kick, punch, bam, bam, bam. Be a person, develop a relationship, and go from there.
Sir, before you dip out of here, because William's got to bounce, folks. He is a very busy man. He's got kids. He's got a job. He's got to get up in the morning and go to work. Do you want to drop your rating and give us kind of your last thoughts on the film and whatnot and everything?
Out of 10, I'll give it an 8.5. There were some things missing here and there to me that didn't make any sense. But the relationship that he had with Tony, I thought was cool. Him getting to know AI, getting to know Karen was cool. Figuring out his web shooters was cool because again, he's trying to figure out how to be a hero. I thought that was interesting as well. The opening was strong. So out of 10, I'll give it an 8.5.
Okay, sir. You know what? Hold on. I'll pull you up right here. And William, of course, we've known for a long time. How long have I known you now, William?
Oh my goodness, it's been a minute.
What? Over 2 years now, I think, right?
Years, yeah, over 2 years, yeah. That's our Twitch channel right there.
That's right.
And this week we'll be doing a review of the Marvels. So we're doing that on Geek Gauntlet this week. So definitely head on over and check us out this Saturday at 10 p.m. Hopefully we have a full crew. So
I've got your YouTube. Hold on, I'll pull your YouTube up.
Okay. So hopefully we have a full crew. So definitely check us out over there. Here's our YouTube channel right here. There's our review for the Marvel movie right there. We're gonna be discussing that. Also, we'll get everything caught up in the world of geek. Gonna go over some death battles. We're gonna be going over comics. We're gonna be talking about some video games. So definitely check us out. Geek Gauntlet is one place where you can catch everything in the world of geek. Cyber, what are you laughing at, Cyber? Cyber.
Cyber, what's up, Cyber?
He was laughing at something, I thought.
Oh, I don't know.
I thought Cyber was laughing at something. I'm sorry, Cyber. I thought you were laughing at something. I'm sorry, sir.
Oh my God. Saber.
What happened?
I thought you were laughing at something. I'm sorry.
I was.
He was laughing. He was laughing at all them smoking hot ass women behind you, man, and whatnot, and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, look at them fine ass women. Look at them fine ass Marvel hoes. But anyway, no, I've been knowing you for a minute, William. William is on one of the first podcast episodes we have. And we actually hit the 10,000 play mark on Spotify. So hey, thanks for everybody who the podcast who at some point I'll eventually get caught up who actually still catches us out on our podcast. But William, it was good to have you on, brother.
Thank you for having me on, fellas. I do appreciate it.
We love everybody at Geek News Now Network and whatnot and everything. And
anytime.
Oh yeah. Geek News Now. Geek News Now. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Twitter or X, as they now want to call it. I still think that's the dumbest name in the history of the world.
Make sure you hit me up and whatnot so we can do some reaction videos together.
Of course, because I still want to do some J-pop stuff with you.
All right, man. All right, William.
Y'all have a good night.
All right, man.
Peace. Later.
All right, Time Lord. Your turn, brother, in the rotation.
Oh, man.
Puff, pass, motherfucker.
It's only 3 of us now. That's not good. With you, Jeff. All right, so where we're starting. It's the shop, right? You know, when Tim's killed.
Yep, right after he saves all his classmates and whatnot, everything, before Tube's thugs let him know that they're out of raw materials.
Okay.
And, we hear Tube, basically say, for the first time in the film, like, isolate Spider-Man and be like, I'm going to fucking kill Spider-Man.
Yeah. Okay, so I already talked about Tube's killing, the Shocker, who's a douchebag, he's Tom Harley, a secret identical brother. So he's dead. I'm happy about that. So because the first Shocker is my favorite Shocker. So yeah, very happy that Harmon is going to be the next Shocker. So great, it's good. And I really like, we did discuss, was the Tinker. Great side character. I love that he always constantly bring up this like high density like heisting that we're gonna get later in the film. Like he always constantly tell the Vulture about this like air heisting he wants to plan. Like very funny recurring gag. And so when Vulture later tells what about this thing that you were talking about, and he gets so excited to get up, it's very funny. Anyway, after killing the Shocker, we get a little bit of more Ned and Spider-Man together, which is very funny, and it's more low key, things about Spider-Man Homecoming, that like, and then after that, they use the tracker and they find out they went over to Washington, around there, DC area, and so Parker needs to go back to his team to go to Washington DC, which was hilarious. I just cracked up that his teacher just like allowed him to come back right away, so that was very funny. And of course when he's trying to take out the tracker of his suit, it's very funny. He learns about the training wheels protocol, and oh my god, more trouble with Peter, just like not learning his way of a superhero, and it was great to, I forgot that, Karen comes in later in the film. So having AI, it wasn't a big surprise. I mean, Tony used the AI, with Jarvis, and then of course Friday. And so it was like, it made sense that Spider-Man had an AI, which is good because more people can talk to. These scenes are okay. The one thing I did, if you were expecting like a big spectacle like Spider-Man film, this is not it. This film is very low key. The action scenes are not like as bombastic or or great like the Spider-Man Raimi films, or or really the Andrew Garfield films, or the next 2 Holland films. It's a very low key kind of sequence of action. So then after that, he gets knocked out by the Vulture and the truck. It was very funny that as a kid you are very impatient on time, and it was very funny when he was talking to Cameron in the the damage control vault thing. He realized it's been only 30 minutes, which was hilarious, and it took him all night to get out of it, which is just like, come on, kid, you should be the smartest kid ever to get out of that. So that was very funny. And my favorite line, like, speaking of Zendaya is a great actress. she definitely nails her role here. Her telling the teacher that I'm not going to this monument that was built by slaves, and then the teacher reaction to that, and then to the security guard, he's like doing this like it was so funny. I just love that scene. And but yeah, it was great to see like a lot of the Spider-Man comic book things from the comics, like his gadgets, like the Spider-Man signal was great to see briefly, which we saw from Civil War, the post-credit scene, and then seeing the web glider thing. That was so cool. If you're a Stico fan, like it was great that they actually.
I love the symbol. It reminds me of the cartoons.
Yes, yeah. And it was really great, and it was great to see the gliding thing. It was great that they actually used a purpose that, which he will use again in the next movie, which was great too.
And that's very comic book accurate too, because he uses that in the comics. He does. He does. The whole...
That was a really cool thing they added in, which was so awesome. I was so happy. I was happy that they actually use it more in the next films. What else? Getting to saving his friends was kind of neat. But yeah, overall, this third act is really cool. I'm liking it. I guess this is where Ned gets better as a friend. Like this is where Ned Leeds actually gets better as a friend, which is good. But yeah, overall, good sequence. I'm excited to talk about more of the other sequences.
Cyberneticshark, sir. Up until the Tombs finding out that they're out of raw materials and whatnot and everything, and they're starts to get frustrated about Spider-Man.
All right. So, like we already mentioned, Tombs taking out the first Shocker. Basically, which ends up leading to Parker back in school. And basically, Peter kind of figures out like where these people are going, and that and that his suit is hacked, and that he needs to find out a way to fix that after he decides to go to the decathlon after all, because he figures that will be a good cover for him to be able to go and follow these, to stop these guys from stealing more stuff from
from damage control.
Damage control. And basically, he goes on the field trip, goes to the hotel. There, while they're in there, like I said, him and Ned start messing with the suit because he gets a call from Happy because he's wondering why he's leaving New York, and he tells him that he's going to Washington D.C. for the mathletes thing.
I went over. I covered all that, Cyber. That whole thing. I dropped all of it. The phone call, the whole decathlon, what happens, all the events of it and whatnot and everything. I dropped all that.
Okay. And your point?
Oh, none, sir, none. Go ahead. Sorry. I think my brain got stuck in the year 2027.
All right. So.
Oh, now I caught freeze.
Yep, because freeze the whole.
See, look at that.
We're frozen. Ah! Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, we can hear you.
Okay, cool.
Hey, you're Iceman. You're actually in a good. You don't look bad, so.
Oh, that's good. Anyway, so after Ned figure out how to get out the tracker, they get the tracker out, put it on the lamp, and they reboot the suit so that it has all the essentials that it can use. Peter starts to make his way to find out, to follow this truck that's going to be stolen. And he makes his way there. He finds this like empty gas station where the people are hanging out, and basically having the conversation with Karen, which is really fun and voiced by the gorgeous and beautiful Jennifer Connelly. But Jennifer Connelly was hasn't really been as attractive in the last like 10 years, I would say. Her best days were back in 1990 when she was in The Rocketeer, through the early 90s, leading up to probably like early 2000s.
Anyways, folks, I will be right back. He just got froze there for a minute. I think the private chat threw him off and whatnot. He was in purpose smile right there for a minute, right, Andres? It happens. It happens to the best of us.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway.
Anyways, folks, Cyber will be right back. Anyways, Andres, until Cyber comes back, what do you think? I think that Tom Holland personally is the best teenage version of Spider-Man out of the 3 Spider-Man actors that have played Spider-Man.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean,
I think he's better than Andrew Garfield. I think he's better than Tobey Maguire as teenage Spider-Man, teenage Peter Parker, especially as the Peter Parker part.
Yeah. I see. Yeah. I guess it's sort of the same thing with Batman. Like, I think Keaton is great as Batman. Like, he's a weak Bruce Wayne. Yeah. I agree. I think Holland is a great Peter Parker, but he's not a great Spider-Man. Where Andrew Garfield is my favorite Spider-Man, and I think he's great, and I think he's the better Spider-Man. But his peer is somewhat kind of mixed. But yeah, I agree with you. I think Holland is a good Peter Parker. What else? Well, what else we can discuss? The music. We haven't brought up the music.
Oh, I think the soundtrack is great.
Yeah. So first up, Michael Giacchino, great composer who's done the Batman. It's kind of funny remembering a Batman. I forgot, like, oh yeah, he's done a lot now. And this and Doctor Strange, the first film, back to back, it shows he was becoming a very popular choice for Disney. It was so cool that Michael Giacchino was able to put the 90s, 60s Spider-Man theme to be this Holland's main Spider-Man theme, which was really cool for the composer to do it. And you hear that in the opening Marvel Studios intro. They put the music of the 60s theme, which was awesome. But yeah, the music is great. Nothing like, I like the inclusion of the 60s theme as the theme for Spider-Man of the MCU.
The music is more like 80s, like late 70s, 80s, like all the punk rock and everything and whatnot and everything.
Oh yeah. I mean, the licensed music, yeah. Those are good too. I mean, the one that we hear when he does his like friendly neighborhood stuff, and then towards the end of the film, that's a good song.
I didn't mention actually that when the movie first starts and we get the actual intro after we start off with the Vulture and his crew and whatnot and everything at the battle aftermath of Battle of New York. Yeah. When we actually get the real intro, they played the Spider-Man theme from back in the day from the Spider-Man cartoons.
Yeah, that's what I say. Yeah. And you still hear it throughout the score of the film. So he's like Giacchino does use it like throughout the film, so you can hear it, which is nice. It was great when I first heard it in theaters. It was really awesome. By the way, 2017, great year for movies. I saw this and Baby Driver in the same day, so it was really great. So awesome. Not so much for Far From Home. I saw Far From Home in Midsummer that same day, and weird combination.
Raven, what's up, brother? Raven from Booze and Chill is hanging out with us tonight. We love Raven. I don't know what's going on with Cyberneticshark. Maybe he's having Wi-Fi issues, or
it's just internet speed. It's like when we do the StreamYard, like you have to be careful when you do your internet speed. Don't have too many windows up or that. Whatever.
Oh, anyways, well, you know what? Why don't we just move on with at that point then and whatnot and everything?
Yeah,
I'm hitting up on the Facebook Messenger right now, but why don't we move on to the review?
Yeah. Oh, sounds like Cyber's here.
Yeah, he's coming. So, anyways, we'll I'll tell you what. Here, I'll play the second trailer right now. We'll wait for Cyber to come out. That's what I'll do.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, hold on. I'll play it right now.
Yeah. Well, we can discuss Madam Web. I mean, You're
I got
right.
the, I got the trailer right here.
Yeah. Well, let me say it's a very bizarre trailer. I think this is the first one.
What's up, guys?
So, to become an Avenger, are there like trials or an interview?
Do me a favor. Can't you just be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man? Just stay close to the ground.
You're the Spider-Man from YouTube. Can you summon an army of spiders?
Oh, Ned, no.
Do you know him too?
Still a shield.
Can I try the suit on? Badass.
The rich and the powerful, like Stark, they don't care about us. The world's changing, boys. Time we change too.
That's dope that they put him in there like that. They're having him narrate. I never saw this trailer before.
Listen, Peter, forget the flying monster guy. There are people who handle this sort of thing.
The illegal weapons barrier was at 2:30. You missed it.
What if somebody had died?
I was just trying to be like you.
I want you to be better. I'm gonna need the suit back.
But I'm nothing without this suit.
If you're nothing without this suit, then you shouldn't have it.
I screwed up.
You need to stop carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders.
I want you to understand. I'll do anything to protect my family. I know you know what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
that's right. That coat has the original furry costume shit on it.
So don't mess with me. Because I will kill you and everybody you love.
I like this design.
My friends are up there.
The guy is still out there. I just gotta do this on my own.
Just don't do anything stupid. All right?
Yeah.
Good one.
Now, Cyberneticshark, sir, now that you're back, yeah, I know you love Michael Keaton, right? So you heard Andres in the beginning of the show saying that he considers the Vulture as like a top 3 villain for him almost, or whatever. Which is, I'm not trying to throw smoke at you, Andres, but Cyber, I'm gonna ask you to rate both the Vulture or whatever. But know that that you're a big cinema guy. What do you think of Michael Keaton in this film as the Vulture?
10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, all the way. He was fucking amazing. Pretty much anything Michael Keaton, and he is perfection. I don't care what anybody says. He, to me, is one of the best actors in the last 40 years, I would say. I mean, he plays great villains. He plays great, kind of, down on luck guys. He plays good, like, comedy. He could do it all, and he's very, I feel, underappreciated as an actor. And all the movies he's been in, I mean, from, starting back in Mr. Mom, the Batmans, Batman 1 and Batman Returns, to, Johnny Dangerously, to My Life, to The Dream Team, Multiplicity, Beetlejuice. He is an amazing actor. And he has played some really great little cameos. And as soon as I saw that he was in this film back when the trailers first launched in 2016, I was psyched as shit because I absolutely loved Michael Keaton. And he absolutely was fantastic as the Vulture. So he is definitely my top villain of all time.
Cyber, if you want to finish up where you were at, we were working our way up to, I believe, where Tubes is finds out that that about not running out of raw materials.
Correct.
From the toy man or whatever character.
Tinker. That's the name.
The Tinkerer.
The Tinkerer.
Yeah.
So, where I was at before my my webpage decided to reboot itself. We were talking about Karen and Spidey in the giant building there. Him kind of learning more about his suit after having all the protocols opened up. And that kind of relationship was super funny, them just talking to each other and stuff like that. And Peter kind of getting advice from this AI and stuff like that. And that was just really fun and super hilarious. When he finally gets out of there and he makes his way back to, get back to the crew, of course, we have that great scene at the Washington Monument after they have won the decathlon. And that scene is so much fun. Absolutely great. I love, the whole aerial batic scenery and stuff like that. Him jumping over the helicopter using his web wings for the first time in the MCU, I should say. And just really fun there. Him saving the day, saving the elevator and stuff like that. Him kind of having a different voice so that he doesn't let Liz know it's him. And it just, that whole sequence was really well action packed, really well constructed, and just really enjoyable. And from there, after him being saved, that's when we get to Toomes learning about that. So I'll stop there. That whole section of the film, really great, really fun, lots of funny moments, and just all around fun.
No, and so basically, great comments as usual, Cyber. Where we pick right up at, just to get us right through, is where, like I said, where Toomes is at. That he's finding out from his team, from his crew, that they're out of raw materials and whatnot. They're running out. So right there, you could, there's more of a pressure on Toomes to provide for his family and whatnot, and everything, for his team and whatnot, and everything. Right. That's when he starts to become even more desperate and starts to hate on Spider-Man and start to I want to kill Spider-Man. But basically, Raymond, are you drinking Mexican beer tonight, brother? What are you doing? You son of a bitch. Booze and chill. Anyways, so the class interviews are hilarious when they do. I love the high school news at the high school. It's awesome. It's really funny. The one kid swears or whatever, whatnot. I can't remember what he says, but the one kid swears. Either way, they interview the coach of the decathlon team. But they're great. And then we see Peter getting detention. Another cat video. This you've gotten detention. Or whatever. So you got detention or whatever and whatnot. I love the cat videos. And then we get MJ is at detention just to sketch people in crisis. Like they use her in some quirky moments and whatnot, everything. Like basically in the film, that's all they do with her is insert her into these quirky little spots. There's a Zendaya character. But it turns out, due to the Baby Monitor protocol, as Kyle mentioned earlier, whatnot, which is hilarious, that Karen records everything. Peter finds out, and he starts to spool through. We get some great scenes of him spooling through all of her recordings. I love the dynamic between him and Karen. It's great. It really is. I love the AI. She's awesome. Peter wants to know where the thugs are. She locates an ID on one of them, who happens to be Aaron Davis, who is the Donald Glover character, who Peter tries to go up as Spider-Man and intimidate in like intimidation mode or whatever, whatnot, interrogation mode with his stupid fucking voice and whatnot. I love this scene. It's really funny with him and Donald Glover. Where Donald Glover just basically tells him, like, dude, you got to work on your game. Like, you're not very good at this. But he gets info, right, from him and whatnot and everything. And Aaron knows what the next deal is. So it's in Staten Island on the ferry. Peter goes there, finds them, ditches detention. Of course, he ditched detention. He just bounced. And of course, that's why I firmly think that by the end of the first film, MJ knows he's Spider-Man. But Karen always wants to do instant kill all the fucking time, which is hilarious too. She always wants to do instant kill, like that. And Peter has to tell her, like, stop with instant kill shit. He uses his drone and whatnot, everything. Tony calls, and Tony can tell that something is going on at the ferry. Peter makes his move when he when he sees the deal go down and whatnot, everything, and takes on the second shocker before he like takes on and sees through Toombs, faces off with him in costume. Before he dons his wings and whatnot, the FBI shows up, just like with the Washington police. They tell him to back off. Toombs dons his suit. We get a great fight scene. Toombs uses the offensive capabilities and weapons of the Vulture suit, which he's now adapted now. He has blasters and shit and whatnot to basically disable the ferry to where it's incapacitated and it's structurally damaged. It splits at the structure, or basically at the base from the middle. Spider-Man using the suit, whatnot, everything, and Karen is 98% successful trying to keep it together with webbing and whatnot and all that, and his own straight brute strength. But it isn't enough until Iron Man actually does show up, saves the day, and then they have a confrontation where Peter cries and whatnot, and Tony basically kind of yells at him and whatnot, everything, and tells him again to back off. It takes away his suit, right?
Yeah.
And Peter comes home to Aunt May. He's all crying and whatnot, everything, and explains everything away by he just lost the START scholarship and whatnot, everything. Gets more detention at school and whatnot, everything, because Aunt May's questioning him. I know you're getting leaving at night and whatnot, everything. I know, you left detention. Apologizes to Liz about the decathlon thing, not swimming with her, not showing up for the competition. Tells her he likes her. Asks her out to the homecoming dance. She accepts. It's very cute. May, we get some great scenes where he's like, May, I need your help. And we get the whole like great, getting prepped for the dance sequences and whatnot, everything. Him learning how to tie a tie and everything and whatnot before he gets dropped off for the dance at Liz's house. And I'll stop there. Cyberneticshark, sir. Your thoughts on the ferry action scene and everything leading up to Peter opening the door and finding out that Toombs is Liz's father.
So the ferry action scene is really fun, really awesome. I think that whole sequence is so cool, especially when Spidey's trying to fix the boat after it's been cut in half. Him going around doing all this thing, webbing and stuff like that was really cool. We get kind of the introduction to Scorpion there. That one character that they kind of throw in there to kind of like, ooh, Scorpion, another character of Spider-Man that is a good foe. And of course, Toombs and Bokeem Woodbine are there, which was really awesome. And just like all the action was so cool and so well done and so fun and so super enjoyable. And just like him taking out and then finally Iron Man showing up was like so awesome too. And him using those little things to press up against and push it back together was like so cool too. And he, basically remelts it together and so like that. Then moving on from there where him and Iron Man have the conversation and Tony's actually there. When Robert Downey Jr. pops out of the actual suit was so cool. And, basically, trying to get Peter to kind of like mature a little bit, they have that conversation, and it's like, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. It's like, sorry, just can't cut it. And I love the line where he's like, wow, I'm really starting to sound like my father now. It was absolutely freaking hilarious. And that scene is very interesting. And then, of course, he being a whiny little baby and goes home to Aunt May and is crying, blah, 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 which that was okay. I mean, I'm thinking to myself, it's trying to show that he's like a teenager. I get that. Same time, it's like, this is goddamn Spider-Man. He's supposed to be tough. Come on. And so, basically he goes back to school and he starts doing all his homework and shit like that again, hanging out with Ned and like that. And that's basically when he finally gets to ask Liz out to the thing. They do the montage, which was pretty funny of him getting ready for the prom. Then, leading up to him getting dropped off at Liz's house and opening the door and seeing that it's Toombs. And we'll stop there. Great sequence.
Time Lord / Time Cop, year 2063, 100-minute man, Andre's pop culture guy, sir.
Time Lord. Anyway, forget it.
I used Time Lord in that.
No, that's true. I'm
I
proud of
gave
you,
you
Jeff.
proper
No, Jeff. I'm proud of you. Thank you.
You
for
should
bringing
just be
Time-
thankful that I used Time Lord, right, Cyber?
Yeah.
I won't even acknowledge you as Time Lord. I will.
Yeah.
You should be thankful to me.
Yeah. I am thankful for you, Jeff. Thank you for calling me Time Lord. Cyber, how dare you? You should call me.
I just like doing it because it reminds me of
Cop.
It reminds me
for
of
all
Highlander.
eternity.
It reminds me of Highlander for some reason, so I just like saying it. It reminds me of Highlander.
How is that? Oh my god. Anyway, so the fairies, the fairy, battle sequence. It's a great sequence. Speaking of Scorpion, it was really cool to see Mac Dargan in the live action thing, because this movie did set up the seed of the Sinister Six so well.
It did,
and it was so annoying that we haven't got that yet. I mean, we sort of got that in No Way Home, which we'll get into. But anyway, so it was great, building up the Spider-Man universe and the MCU. That was very neat. I totally agree with Cyber. Yeah, it was really cool to see Spider-Man, doing sort of like the train from Spider-Man 2, trying to hold the thing together. It's a really iconic shot. I mean, the trailers used that scene so many times, I remember. And even the Spider-Verse made like reference to that scene where him holding two things and the two things, by his hands is really iconic. And I really like the scene where Tony talks to Peter and like grouch him about his like, his irresponsible things as a superhero. The fact that he told him to step away from it, and I think Tony could handle differently, but I think Peter should have been more responsible and learned to listen to the adult. And I really appreciate it. And I like the idea of taking the high-tech suit away from him. That was really good, because I think it showed that, it's not the suit that makes Spider-Man, it's actually the person underneath the mask. And so I really like that when we get into, the final act, it's great to see Spider-Man without the suit and like see him become the man who he is, the Spider-Man. So I really like the idea of taking away the suit and, show that, Spider-Man is not all about the technology. It's about the person and the suit. And it was really fun to see, Peter and Ant-Man, Ant-May, getting prepared for prom and all that. That was really cool. I'm excited to talk about the Tombs twist, because that I wasn't expecting when I first saw this in theaters. Like that, it still gets to me every time I see it. So I'm done. It's a good sequence.
There you go. And as I mentioned in the highlighted right there, in the Cyber Venom 2 was fun at times. It was, but at other times it wasn't that
Oh
fun.
my god.
Neither way. No, so my only
10.
thing 10 out of 10 on Venom 2?
What?
No.
Yep.
Sorry, did you just say that?
Yes, I did.
You didn't drop a 10 out of 10 when we reviewed it.
Yeah, I did.
You did?
I did.
All right, I'll have to dig back, Andres. I'll have to go back and look it up.
I wasn't.
I'll have to go back to the Bleeding Edge
I
file.
wasn't with
this
you
was
guys.
back when Perry Ramsey was with us. Right, Cyber?
Nope.
It wasn't?
Nope.
I thought Perry was on the Venom 2 review.
Nope.
Okay.
Venom 2 came out in 2019. Came out in like 2022, 2021. So he was gone by then.
Okay.
Anyway, Venom 2. Let's move on.
Cyber, I had asked Andres before you dipped. When your Wi-Fi got bad for a minute, whatnot, everything. I asked him just to like get things going until you came back on. I asked him what he thought of me saying that I think Tom Holland plays the best teenage Peter Parker out of all the Spider-Man actors, out of Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. What are your thoughts, sir?
I like Tom Holland.
Not Spider-Man, just Peter Parker.
I think Tom Holland is an okay Peter Parker. I like each of them in their own individual way. I don't think any of them are bad or any of them are better than the other. I liked all three of them equally.
Okay, that's perfectly fair. So Peter opens the door to Toombs, right? Toombs is Liz's father. And I thought Tom Holland acted his ass off in those scenes because he had to come off like, very, like almost enraged or like, not know what to do, right? It's got to be intense to be a superhero or whatever and whatnot, be like a non public name, superhero that wears a mask and be in that situation. But basically, we get like an awkward situation where he's at the house and whatnot and everything, and he won't even smile for pictures and whatnot because he realizes that Liz's father, that is his date for the homecoming dance, is the Vulture, is the head of the boss of like, the thug group that sells the illegal Shatari weapons. So basically, it turns out that Toombs is going to drive them to the dance, and just by driving them through the dance, Toombs is able to assert through conversation with Liz and Peter that he is Spider-Man. And so when he has like the dad, talk with him, whatnot, everything, he tells him right there, you like either step off, right, and just forget about me or whatever, whatnot, this and whatnot, everything, like, or I'll kill your fucking family. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like, or whatever, whatnot, everything. He's ruthless. And so, of course, Peter goes right into the dance, all like traumatized, though not traumatized, but he basically, I like how Toombs says it. He says, because you saved my daughter's life, right? I'm gonna let you just walk away from this and forget all about all this shit and whatnot and everything and whatnot. So he has a reason, right? Like, he believes he can take Spider-Man, Peter Parker. I like that about him. I do. He's convinced. And so, of course, he ends up just leaving the dance, and just immediately dips and dons, like a half-ass Spider-Man suit, right from jump, gets like taken, attacked by Toombs' thugs, and the second shocker, and basically, set up by Toombs, and Ned helps out, and it turns out Pete, left his phone in Toombs' car once Peter kind of, takes out, Toombs' thugs, Shocker 2 and everything and whatnot, in like a stupid, like ghetto ass looking fucking like Spider-Man outfit. He takes on, he again, using Ned, he steals Flash's car and not knowing how to drives to find, where the phone is at and whatnot, everything, as Ned is guiding him. And Peter tells him to call Happy, whatnot, everything, which, Happy won't talk on the phone because he's busy doing the last shipment of the Avengers gear and whatnot, everything, and their tech and their shit. Tony's shit, Atari shit and whatnot, everything, their Ultron shit or whatever. That's going to be, planed off and whatnot to the new upstate New York headquarters. So they're trying to steal the Avengers shit. Their cargo that's on a plane. And basically, at that point, Peter, before that, right before that, we get to that point, he actually gets sort of set up by the Vulture, because when he shows up there, the Vulture uses the Vulture wings to topple the building on him completely, which he fights through. It's extremely sad when he like cries out, well, not everything, but he fights through to like fight back. And they're, so as they're trying to steal the cargo, he lashes himself on and whatnot onto the Vulture, and we get the big fight scene or big, a battle scene of the basically of the film, where we see Spider-Man take on. I'll let you guys talk about it. We see Spider-Man take on the Vulture on the plane, and then ending up crashing at Coney Island, with him on the beach, and they have a fight. And basically, Vulture kind of beats the fuck out of him physically, right? And but his shit's already damaged from already fighting with Peter. And when he tries to take off, with the actual some of the stolen shit, his suit is destroying and whatnot and everything. And Peter ends up saving his own life while like basically stopping him and whatnot and everything and foiling him. And I'll stop him there. So why there's still a little bit left of the film. Going to you, Cyberneticshark, and then to you, Andre's pop culture guy. your thoughts on the final, quarter of the film, the final battle. Have as much time as you want, Cyber.
So up to the final battle,
up until the end of the final battle when he goes back to high school and whatnot, everything.
Okay. So I mean the pretty much like that kind of that last quarter of the film is fun. Him and Tomb's conversation in the back of the car, to let it go. You can just see Peter thinking like he's not going to let it go. You just know he's not going to. And him going to get his old suit and going after him, getting attacked by the second shocker. And Ned coming to the rescue to help, which was really fun, really hilarious. And him going after Tombs, them having that conversation in that warehouse. And basically him stalling to get his glider ready, and then it takes out all the pillars and crashes down on him, which is really cool, really well done. And then Peter trying to figure out how to get out of this mess and figuring out, yes, I have to, I am more than just the suit, and gets himself out of there because he finally realizes he's more powerful without, he doesn't need a suit. He is who he is. And he kind of has that revelation, which was interesting. And, leading, and then him finally getting out of there and going after Tombs, and that final epic sequence is just so awesome. I mean, all the action on the plane, taking out the jet engine, the side of the plane getting screwed up and its reflectors not working anymore. And, basically the crash is really awesome and cool. Love that. And basically Peter and Tombs fighting was really fun. And basically after all that, and Peter still tries to save him after the stupid weapon blows up. You're just kind of like, wow, even after all that, you're still the good guy, Peter. You're still the good guy. Good for you. And basically kind of like the look on Michael Keaton's face when he sees that treasure is like, oh, there's my score still. And you're just kind of like, wow, like you're done here, Vulture. Just give it up. And it was so well constructed and really well done. I really enjoyed that sequence. And basically after that, Peter making it back to school after that. Next day walking seemed to be fine, nothing bruised or anything like that. And sees Liz and her mom leaving to go to Oregon. And him basically kind of saying his final goodbyes, and if she needs anything, and what he really knows is really funny. And basically, I'll stop right there because
no. Go keep going. Just go ahead and keep going and whatnot, and everything, and wrap it up and whatnot. And then we'll throw to Andres and whatnot, and we'll get to the end, and we'll drop our ratings.
And then basically, Happy pops up. At the end too, while he's at school, they're doing a mathly little conversation there, and he says come to the bathroom, and he goes there, and they have kind of that funny awkward moment there, which is super hilarious. It's like I've been here long enough for it to be very awkward. The boss wants to see you, and they end up driving up to Avengers, the new Avengers place. Did you want me to keep going, or do you want me to stop before I get there?
Go ahead, finish it up.
And so then he gets to Avengers headquarters, and Tony's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, good job. I knew you had it in you," kind of deal. And yeah, I have several different reporters behind this door waiting for you to debut your new Avengers outfit, and you're now a part of the Avengers and stuff like that. And basically, Peter ends up saying, "No, I'll stay to be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man for right now. Still keep my feet on the ground." And Tony's shocked by this, and so is Happy. And then all of a sudden, Pepper Potts comes out and is like, "Where's the kid?" And he's like, "He just made a really good decision." And they kind of have that funny kind of like awesome thing where like basically Happy brings up the ring in his pocket, which was absolutely hilarious. And he's like, and the looks on Tony Stark's face were absolutely priceless there when he does that. It was so freaking funny. And he's like kind of like, oh, he laughs when he says it's been in his pocket since 2008, since the first movie, which is absolutely hilarious. And they basically end up going to the conference, and Happy takes Peter back, and basically we see him go back to being a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and that's it.
Andres.
Yes, Andreas, the Lord of Time.
Andreas, I'm sorry, Time Lord.
Yeah, Lord of
Oh,
Time.
Raymond, we're just talking shit in the private chat, bruh. You know how it is, man. If you come on, if you jump on the panel, then you'll get to experience it too, bro. Have at it, Andreas.
No, Raven.
I apologize, sir.
Yeah, no. Raven, I love you, man. I love your ideas. Love it. Andreas, Lord of Time, is bored. Thank you. He understands it. You two don't.
Hey, I have a hard time with certain names sometimes. Remember Huang?
Yes, the one.
There you go.
Oh, poor Mr. H. Anyway, Mr. H, we love you.
I still want to know how the Night Sisters managed to conjure up the Necro sword in the Ahsoka finale, when in Rebel in Clone Wars only the Force gods could do shit like that. But that's another show.
Yeah, another show. Yeah. Well, I don't have the answer. We have to probably look at it. I can recap some of that. Anyway, yeah. So the twist of the Vulture being Liz dad is incredibly a great twist. Like it was such a subtle twist that you didn't know it was coming. It was such an amazing twist. I mean, there were hints of that in the film, like when Toons was talking to the Tinker about we're kind of not having too much of the supply to make this like deal go in, and he says he wants to kill Spider-Man, and then you see the reaction of him seeing the Washington news thing of what happened in the elevator, and you kind of see maybe it's maybe someone he knows in Washington. And so, like, there were hints of his family. He's bringing up his family a couple of times in the film. So when that moment happened, it was so funny. It was so hilarious, but also scary to see that. Like, I love the joke when he asks Pierre about the drink. Like, do you want bourbon, scotch? And then, of course, Pierre's response is like, I'm not too old to drink alcohol. And he says, like, good man. I really dug that. I mean, Keaton's so funny here. I agree with Cyber. Mayo Keaton is the reason I love about this film. Is just he's such a great actor. I mean, he's great at drama, comedy, being great as a hero and a villain. It's just, this film just shows that so well as a perfect sympathetic supervillain, And yeah, that whole scene when he drives to the prom, the homecoming, right? To for the kids, I love the buildup of him realizing that Peter is Spider-Man, and I love the little detail you don't notice. This is the signals where it was red and then it turns to green, which was so funny because if the Vulture's color is green, and so it's funny that we saw that a little bit. He's like, aha, he is Spider-Man, that was great, and I really like that build up. But the scene when he talks to Peter, it was a great scary scene. Yes, glad to help. Thank you, Roman. You helped me a lot. Lord of Time respects you now. Anyway, the scene Cyber, no, don't leave it like that. It's perfect.
It's Raymond, not Roman.
I didn't say.
You call it Raymond from fucking Moose and Chill Romans? What the fuck?
Oh, I didn't say Roman. I say Raymond.
Roman, like what up, Roman?
Oh my god, this is a
nobody on the history of the MCU's Buddy Guys named Roman has ever been on the panel, baby.
Oh my god,
I assure you,
Raymond. I'm sorry. This is Cyber's fault. Blame him. Anyway. So Keaton's in the car and he slowly takes out something from the compartment, right? And it's the gun. And my audience, when we saw this in the theaters, was dead silent because he's fighting the kid. And that was such a great scene. And that was when I knew Vulture was a great villain and made into my top tier villain list of the MCU, all that. So that was really great. And it was great how he tricked Peter from the warehouse and the Vulture wings. That was really cool. And his conversation to Peter about the rich and all that was very relatable. I one of the things that's always been a problem with the MCU villains is that you can never understand, you never get their motivation. You don't know about, their You know, like, oh my god, what is going on here? Oh, stop it. Time up.
Oh, shit.
Damn it. I hate that. Anyway, Angela Bassett is the president in my universe. So let's end that right there. Anyway, stop it, Jeff. Stop it. Oh my god, no. Anyway, so oh my god, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the rich and the low class was like unfair, inequality. Oh my god, please. I'm sorry, folks. President Jonathan
Jean-Claude Van Damme
is not in my universe. It's literally Angela Bassett. Angela Bassett is my president in the time dimension, aka the Lord of Time dimension. Anyway, you know, like kids talking about the rich are greedy and we're cleaning up their mess and all that. I totally agree with Keaton's villain. That makes him one of the most like relatable villains. So yeah, and then him, you know, trying to hijack the plane that has all the Avengers supplies and gadgets was really cool. I actually liked that. You know, it was really cool and neat to see that. And here, again, when I brought up the action scenes, it's not spectacular. You know, him attacking Holland was okay. You know, they have all the scrapes. You know, the action could have been more creative when they went to Coney Island. But I really like that, you know, Holland saved him. And so, like, it earned his trust for Peter to keep his secret. So that was really neat, you know, especially the mid-credit scene with Scorpion. Yeah, and then after that, you know, Liz goes away. Anyway, you know, moves away because of the trial and all that. And then
Peter never even hit that or nothing. Not one time.
Yeah. Well, that was Peter's fault. You know, that was his fault. You know, he had all the opportunity, but he just didn't take it away. So bad Peter. But
President John Claude would have hit that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, so you know, and so so you get to the what is it, the team, the science team, whatever. You know, and this is where we get to reveal the Zendaya's character. Michelle is MJ. Now, prior to No Way Home confirmed her full name is Michelle Jones Watson. She is an original character, but she is connected to Mary J. But just she's like a variant. You know, if we have to explain her character, she's like a variant of Mary J. Watson. So whatever. At the time, I thought, oh my god, I was happy that she was just called Michelle. I thought it was a good direction for a original character, and I didn't like the dropping of MJ here. That's my another nitpick. But when you get too far from home and No Way Home, Zendaya really makes this character great. So you know, this movie, she hasn't have a lot to do in this film. You know, Zendaya. So, but in the next, anyway, I need to check this out. Anyway, so I think Zendaya is the reason that this character works. So yeah, and then Happy's in the bathroom. It's very funny that he was waited that long, and this random kid comes out. That's funny. And then what else? Then he goes to the Avengers compound. I don't like the Iron Spider suit. Let me get that out of the way. It's very ugly. The color scheme is just like just typical MCU. Just too much going on with the suit, the Iron suit. Like it could have been better if they just did the comic book version of the red and gold, but whatever. You guys did Infinity War and Endgame, right?
No,
so,
those are next.
Oh god, then I had to think about the suit. Anyway, don't like the Iron suit, whatever. Anyway, and then it was cool to see Pepper Potts. You know, it was great to see Pepper Potts.
It was cool to see Pepper Potts.
Yeah, it was.
It was really good to see her.
Yeah. By the way, she was in. Oh, she's also
looking
the
spiffy in that purple outfit.
What if Paltrow will be looking good till she's grandma age?
Yes, that would be true. Yeah. So it was great to see hot Pepper Potts again. She's gorgeous as always. I laughed at, of course, the line when Happy say he hold the engagement ring since 2008, which that's kind of weird. So he thought that
I had forgotten that because this is only the third time I've watched it since it came out. I'd forgotten that Tony actually offers him a full-fledged Avengers spot. and all that shit and whatnot. I'd forgotten about that part. That he actually has a room for him and everything and whatnot, everything, right? And like it's all set up.
I think he was just exaggerating that. I think he was gonna offer like him to become an Avenger, but I don't know about the like staying in the Avengers compound.
Was that just him fucking with him?
Yeah, like he was trying to test him, and like Peter did choose the direction that.
I believed it. Cyber, did you think that Tony was being authentic with that shit? I thought he was.
I think he was to a degree, especially because of the conference and Pepper thinking that they were having the conference. That to me is the only part that, says that they weren't going that direction. But I definitely think they were saying like, oh, next to Vision and shit like that. That was them being like hilarious. But I think they really they were going to have him move in there.
Well, Raymond, I would definitely booze and chill with Pepper Potts anytime, brother. Andreas, would you like to finish up your contribution, sir, so we can get into ratings?
Yes. Yeah, and after that, Peter is like happy, he chose the direction he is. He goes to his house, saying, Aunt May, you're there, yada, yada, yada. He sees the suit, he puts on the suit. And again, just like Ned, he was so stupid. He didn't realize that Aunt May was there. And then she sees him in the suit, and then she drops the F-bomb. By the way, I love the cut of that. It's funny as hell. But I didn't like, when we get too far home, we didn't properly adjust the reveal of the secretary properly. But whatever. We'll get into that. But it doesn't matter. I love the ending. And that's it. Spider Homecoming. Love it. Best movie. And by the way, and Andrew Bassett is still the president of the Lord of Time in my dimension. So don't change the story and anything.
Let's do ratings. Cyberneticshark, so why don't you start us off with ratings?
Well, as Jean-Claude Van Damme would say, I give it a 10. I am the president of your universe.
Andreas.
Yeah, well, my president, Andrew Bassett, told me, tell you and your president that Spider-Man Homecoming is a 9 out of 10. Love the film. It's great. Me and my lovely president watch it every time. There's few, nitpicks here and there as a, Marvel fan. But it's a enjoyable film. Andrew Bassett loved the film. We love it. We always see it every day. It's a great film. So, why am I bringing my president here? Because Andrew Bassett's awesome. And she's in my...
Andrew Bassett, no.
Sure thing, Brando, Godfather. Anyway.
I'm gonna rate
no.
I'm going 10 out of 10, baby. I'm going 10 out of 10, Raymond. I'm going 10 out of 10, Andreas. 10 out of 10 for just like Cyber, just like Andres. This is a great movie. I think this movie is better than Spider-Man 3, but that's just my personal thing and whatnot, everything. And I'm not going to bring that up for conversation because we could go on for 2 hours about that. But any final thoughts, guys, on Spider-Man Homecoming? I mean, all I really wanted to say was just that, like Kyle said, I love the hero aspect, is him fighting to be the kind of hero that he wants to be, and then turning down Tony and whatnot, everything, right, to go back home. Right, which I think is what he's going to do after Spider-Man 3. I think he's going to go back to New York, and we're going to get him and Daredevil, which they've already said that they're going to put him and Daredevil together. That Daredevil's going to be in that Spider-Man 4 film and whatnot. I think it's going to be all connected, guys. I think Kingpin and whatnot. I think Kingpin is going to end up being a villain of one of the next 3 Spider-Man films. I'm telling you. You'll see. But here, guys, Cyber, any final thoughts on the film, brother? Andres? We good?
Cyber, you can go first. See what you say.
All I gotta say is that just like The Godfather Part 1 and Part 2, this movie is epic. It's fantastic. And it's a great Marlon Brando would say.
Andres, aren't you so glad that we brought The Godfather into Cyber's life? Cyber, have you rewatched The Godfather films again now after the first time you saw him?
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
You were good?
You gotta give me time.
Okay.
Don't put pressure on him. Just
No, you never know with Cyber. He watches a lot of shit, man.
Yeah, I know that, but
I have too much shit to watch already. It'll be a while before I watch those again.
Yeah, exactly. Final thoughts. No. I mean, this is a great film. It's definitely top tier Spider-Man film in my list, in my ranking. So it's great. Not so Far From Home. That's like my least favorite of the Holland trilogy. So when we get to that next week, it's. Yeah.
We know when we're going to be doing What If now. It's going to be December 22nd, a Friday. That'll be our first What If episode 1 review. And we're going to have I already have 2 or 3 people lined up, just like we did Secret Invasion. Like Kel from Kelly's Reactions and whatnot, and they're going to come on with us and handle the show. Maybe Raymond might decide to join us for a couple episodes if he's be kind. Raymond will be Fridays.
You do realize that's being dropped every single day for the next 9 days after that releases.
They're going to drop the whole thing, right?
Not all at once. They're doing it every single day for 9 days.
Oh, every day after that first Friday?
Yeah.
So what do you? Yeah. So I figured I didn't know if that was for sure or not. I knew that I
yeah,
heard
it's 100% for sure.
Okay, so we'll figure out how we'll tackle that.
Yeah, it's unlike Echo where it's being dropped all at once. You know,
it's gonna be every other day. So whatever. So we'll stretch it out and do it episodically.
You want to do 2 episodes at a time?
Yeah, you're probably right. That's a good way to do it. I like that, Cyber. Good thinking. Yeah. You see, folks, this is why it's good to actually have a co-host and whatnot and everything, right? Because like Cyber's right there completely. You're right. We should do them in 2 episodes. That way we can knock the whole 9 episodes out in what? 3 shows? They'll just be grinders like this one.
2, 4, 6.
But we'll have the Time Lord there, so he'll be able to bless us with the President John Claude,
It'll be like 4 episodes, 4 or 5 episodes.
Yeah.
Not everything, right? So we'll be good to go.
Raymond,
are you down to come on? Raymond, you down to come out and grind with the Bleeding Edge on the panel and whatnot? Everything you rock out some What If season 2.
Raymond from Booze and Chill. Yes, I'm like Sharknado and Cocaine Bear combined. I'm Shark Bear. I'm shocked now.
I'll have to start searching through Cyber's content and find out how much of this Godfather accent, this Vito Corleone accent that he's using on his content. I've got to see now. I love it, Cyber.
No, this is my first time using it.
You only do it on the Bleeding Edge? You've done it before? No, Andreas, didn't he do it a couple of shows ago too?
I did it on the Godfather Part 1 and Part 2.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
I mean, I've done other voices on other shit, but not the Godfather.
Okay. Not Vito?
Not Vito. No.
I can't. I'm not very good with voices, folks. How about you, Andreas? What do you got, bro? Do some presentations real quick before we get out of here.
Let's get our links and get out of here.
Is that not your? Is that not in your box, bruh?
Box? What? You guys are ridiculous. Anyway, Cyber's go first.
Cyber, I think now that I'm finally getting my meds straight and whatnot and everything and whatnot with my ADHD, I should be able to go ahead and actually legitimately go ahead and do our first ever before the end of the year giveaways and whatnot and everything. So you could actually plug with confidence tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't guarantee 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, but there'll be Amazon gift card giveaways. But hey, what do we got going on the Cyberneticshark YouTube channel and the rest of your channels and other content?
What's up, guys? If you love me here on the Bleeding Edge, definitely check out my solo content on the Cyberneticshark. Find me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, Patreon, all that kind of stuff. And most recently, I just put up The Marbles movie review, so check that out. Or my tribute to Richard Mole, who just passed away a couple weeks ago. And I just watched a movie called Quiz Lady the other night. I just put up my short of that. Definitely check that out. Did a few older movies there for you guys on my shorts too. 2 Guns.
Ooh, 2 Guns.
12 Rounds, 1570 Paris, 16 Blocks. Great movies. Definitely check those out. But yeah, definitely, if you haven't checked out my channel, definitely check it out. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And yeah, there will be a giveaway here soon for some Amazon gift cards for you guys. All that subscribe. And yeah, most definitely just going to keep on trucking. You'll be seeing some more trailer reactions coming up soon and some more reviews. There's quite a few movies coming out at the end of this month. So you'll be seeing a lot of reviews for me. The new Hunger Games movie, the Trolls movie, Napoleon's coming out. Thanksgiving, which I'll be seeing tomorrow. So yeah, definitely. You'll have quite a truck full of wonderful reviews for you guys coming up. But yeah, still holding steady at 710. Let's get that up.
All right, Cyberneticshark, sir, and thank you for your service this evening. Andreas?
Yep. By the way, rest in peace, Richard, Ricardo Moll. Great great Two-Face actor. He voiced him in Batman and animation series. Very sad that he passed away. So he was one of the best definitive versions of Two-Face. So yes, hello everyone. My name is Andreas Pop Culture Guy. Here's Andreas Pop Culture Guy Channel Presents. I'm up to Jeff. Can you put up what's the subscribers? I think
46.
Yeah. 846 subscribers. Thank you, everyone. So recently, yesterday, I put a supplementary 40th anniversary tribute. Check that out. Today, I just posted the part 2 of the Doctor Who's Supremacist of the Cyberman comic book read. Check that out. I don't know what's going to release tomorrow. I'm thinking of it. Probably a retrospective review, maybe. We'll see. That's where I'm at. Still continuing my Doctor Who 60th anniversary content. And me and Jeff will be back again, do a live stream, doing the first Adams family film.
Hey, look what it is.
Yeah, that's you. Yeah. In 1991, the first film. So check us on that on Sunday.
First film of what?
First film of Adams Family, 1991 film. There.
We're reviewing the first Adams Family film. On Sunday.
Adams Family.
On Sunday night.
Yep. Oh my God. Jeff.
Adams Family #1.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Good movie.
Yeah, we did Adams Family Values last Sunday.
Yeah. By the way, great sequel. Check out the last live stream. It was really fun. I mean, Values, great film, great sequel. It's one of the top tier sequels ever. Anyway, yeah, that's where I'm at.
That's what I meant.
Raymond, if you ever want to borrow Cyber and Andres for a show, whatnot, everything for a half hour, an hour, I can hold it down myself until they come on. I'll get some guests or whatever, or live on my own. Raymond lives in the same night we do.
The great Raymond. Yes, we're always available for you, mate.
So yeah, just let us know if you want Cyber and Andres to come by and drink some booze with you, drink some cervezas or some shit or whatever, or some margaritas. Like I have on Booze and Chill, and just extend the invitation, and I'll hold the fort down until they want to come on with me. But yeah, thanks everybody, thanks folks, thank you for supporting the MCU's Bleeding Edge. We're almost at 45,000 subscribers. Thank you to Cyberneticshark. Thank you to Andres the Pop Culture Guy for holding it down, being a 10 for 10 on the panel. Thank you for letting me moderate the show. Thank you to Kyle from True Believers, FPN Podcast Network. Thank you to William, the host of the Geek Gauntlet podcast, good friend of mine in content creation now for, I think, almost 3 years now. It's been a minute since I've known him. I met him through Nate the Great, Cyber, believe it or not. That's how long I've known Nate the Great. I've known him before I knew William. And he's a little kid. He's still a little kid. Either way, folks, we appreciate you. Please support Cyberneticshark. Please support Andreas, the Pop Culture Guy Presents at DC Marvel Talk. Is it Plus or Talk?
Marvel Plus Talk.
Marvel Plus Talk. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Marvel Plus Talk.
Thank you very much, Raymond. We appreciate you, brother. Thank you for joining us, Raymond. Appreciate and support.
Thank you,
Raymond at Booze and Chill. So please support Raymond at Booze and Chill YouTube channel and podcast. He's a good friend of ours. We'll see you next time, folks. We love you. Appreciate you. We'll see you on Friday for District 9. Alan from the Blackland Collective podcast will be on. And then the Friday after that, we have Event Horizon. And we have our first collaboration with a whole nother podcast coming on and whatnot and everything. That's just, I'll leave it for then. But we have some new guests coming on and whatnot, everything for Event Horizon. And we've got the first part of the Infinity War that Cyber's going to be moderating. Next week, Cyber's going to be doing part 1 of the Infinity War. I'm going to be grabbing part 2. And then Cyber and I are going to talk and we'll figure out if we want to switch that up for Endgame. I don't know which part he wants. So he's my good buddy. So if President Jean-Claude Van Damme says it's okay, I'll let him do part 2 of Endgame and I'll take part 1.
Actually,
take one for the team.
I was talking to
Only if
Andrew
the
Bassett.
Jack Claus is okay.
Wait. Andrew Bassett just told me that Cyber should take over Infinity War and Endgame and have you do the next 2 Spider-Man films. How about that?
I do this 2 Spider-Man films. I thought you were going to say I should do Infinity War and he should just do Endgame.
No. My Lord and Savior told me you should do the 2 Spider-Man films and he should do the 2 Avengers films.
Okay. Well, I mean, Cyber, he is the Time Lord, so I don't know what that.
Well, No Way Home is not a part of the Infinity Saga, so we won't be doing that anytime soon.
No, we won't. That's true. It's not a part of the Infinity Saga.
The last film of the Infinity Saga is Far From
Andres,
Home.
Spider-Man 2 is the end of the Infinity Saga review series.
Oh my god, yeah.
We have no idea when we want to start reviewing we've already started reviewing the phase. We've been on our way. We've been reviewing the phase 4 and phase 5 films as we go.
Yeah.
Just like we'll do the Marvels on Monday, folks. We're going to do the Marvels on Monday. We're going to do it for an hour. We're going to do an hour review, the 3 of us, and then we're going to knock out WandaVision episode 4 review. Me and Andres on the MCU'S video report, bitch. What's up?
Yeah, if you've seen the Marvels. I seen the Marvels yesterday.
I'm going to see the Marvels tomorrow night, baby.
All right, good.
All right. Hey, Tyrone Biggins and me are going.
Raymond, it's Time Cop, not Time Lord.
Time Lord. No, don't
Time
listen
Cop.
to
Raymond. Time Cop.
Don't piss Cyber
Time
off.
Lord.
Like the Lord part.
Time Cop.
Time Lord.
Time Cop.
Time Lord.
Time Cop.
Hey. I said, excuse me, but you don't understand where I'm at. I was all around the world, on span, across the map. I've been laying low and now it's time to pop up, bitch, I'm back. Now I'ma run it up.